live at Wembley, which throughout the course of the afternoon has filled up significantly. It's jam-packed. Away to our right, it is red and blue of Crystal Palace. We've got Lions away to our left, and a banner held up by the fans as Aston Villa take on Crystal Palace in the first FA Cup semi-final this afternoon on Talksport. You're listening to FA Cup Game Day live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. Quick one as the teams come out from Dean Ashton, who has played in an FA Cup final. This is everything. Losers get nothing, winners get it all here, don't they?
This game is painful, and it will be for both sides. That feeling, though, when the full-time whistle goes and it's you that gets to go and play in a showpiece FA Cup semi-final, is one of the finest I've ever experienced, and hopefully these players will be thinking positively rather than negatively, with the fear of missing out, to go out and actually perform.
What an atmosphere as well. It couldn't be any better in here, could it?
I think that's the only thing. You know, I'm a traditionalist. I loved it when it was at the likes of Villa Park, but when you look around, actually the two sets of supporters, you can tell how much it means actually to be here, for their teams to be here, wanting to get to the final.
It's been a big day already as the players shake hand. Ipswich relegated, Cardiff relegated in League 2, Doncaster and Port Vale promoted, relegated to League 2, Cambridge United relegated out of the EFL for only the second time in their history, Carlisle, Barnet promoted, Brackley promoted, Truro promoted, Celtic champions and Peterhead champions as well. It's FA Cup Game Day live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. Forest Man City tomorrow. Live on Talksport is the second semi, but the first FA Cup semi-final is about to kick off. Villa against Palace. Here's your Wembley commentary team live on Talksport. A man who scored in an FA Cup final, Dean Ashton, alongside your commentator, Sam Matterface.
Thank you, Adrian. The last two times that Crystal Palace have met Villa in London, they have torn them to shreds. They're unbeaten in their last four meetings with the Villa, and Oliver Glasner has already knocked Unai Emery's men out of the League Cup. But Crystal Palace have never beaten Aston Villa in the FA Cup. A place in the final awaits for one of the two teams for whom trophies have been elusive. Palace have never won the Cup. Aston Villa haven't lifted it since 1957. Two teams who have provided the season with so many stories. Will the final chapter be gilded with silverware? Crystal Palace bring back Sarr, Mateta and Richards from midweek. Aston Villa have no Marcus Rashford. He's got a knock. A small muscle injury rules him out today. Ollie Watkins starts and leads the line. Asensio and McGinn return. Two teams, two sets of fans who do not take heading to Wembley for granted. A £13,000 banner, an orchestrated tifo, has been launched away to our right. Take my hand, take my whole life too, is the words from the Elvis Presley song I Can't Help Falling in Love With You, which Crystal Palace and their supporters are displaying away to our right-hand side. Palace in their traditional red and blue striped shirts with blue shorts, blue socks. Aston Villa all in white today. Our referee is Anthony Taylor, and Dean Ashton is alongside me, an FA Cup finalist 19 years ago. What will the players be feeling ahead of the first whistle of this semi-final?
I would love to say that they'd be thinking all these positive thoughts, but it's difficult. You don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to be the one that maybe costs your team a place in the final. These sorts of games tend to be cagey, but I tell you what, there's some talent out there on both sides, especially in forward areas. I'm so excited to see those matchups of Sarr, Mateta, Rodgers, Watkins and Asensio, and what they can produce under such severe pressure.
Well, tomorrow it's Nottingham Forest against Manchester City in both Women's Champions League semi-finals, all live on Talksport. But first, will it be the Villa or the Palace that takes the first place in the FA Cup final of 2025? Legends of days of yore in the stands. Brian Little, Ian Taylor of Aston Villa up high in the stands. Steve Coppell, Alan Smith, know what it's like to take Crystal Palace all the way to the final. Unai Emery and Oliver Glasner in charge today, and we're live on Talksport at Wembley with pyrotechnics being launched away to our right hand side, and Eze getting us off and underway with Palace shooting from right to left, and a long launch ball up by Henderson deep into Aston Villa territory is the first action of the day. Henderson is the goalkeeper for Crystal Palace. The back three, Richards, Lacroix and Gahey. In midfield, Munoz plays on the right-hand side of the midfield quartet. Mitchell on the left, Kamada and Wharton in the centre, Sarr and Eze behind Mateta in attack. Emi Martinez, who has the ball at his feet inside the 18-yard box away to our left, is the Aston Villa goalkeeper. Cash, Konza, Torres and Luca Dean. That's the back four. McGinn, Tielemans and Kamara in midfield. And Rogers, Watkins and Asensio going forward. Here is Boubacar Kamara releasing Matt Cash into the smoke left by the pyrotechnics. Across steps Lacroix and uses his body really well and smuggles the ball behind, and it's out for a goal kick away to our right hand side. A minute gone, Palace 0, Aston Villa 0.
And there's been plenty of those moments this season actually where Lacroix, Gahey, Richards have all stepped across. That back three's really developed as the season has gone on. Brilliant away run that they had midway through the season. A big part of that was those three being able to pick them regularly as well has really helped Oliver Glasner.
I have to tell you that it's very good job that you're listening to the radio, because you can't see anything at the moment if you're watching on television, because the pyrotechnic smoke, which is billowing from the Palace end away to our right, has completely engulfed the cameras, and it's very difficult actually to see almost most of the pitch. It's starting to lift now, but there's a hazy drift of smoke all over the Wembley surface as the ball is pushed out to this left-hand side, and emerging with it is Tyreek Mitchell. He nudges it back into Kamada, and then it's through to Eze all the way back to Chris Richards, the United States international at the heart of the Crystal Palace defence there. If you are listening in the United States or North America this afternoon, thank you very much for lending us your ears. We say a big hello to you if you're listening to us on Sirius XM FC. This is Talksport, and we're live at Wembley in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, and the ball is with the captain of Crystal Palace, Mark Gahey, on halfway, up to Kamada, and then back to Gahey again, looks for a big diagonal, sent out towards the right-hand side, taken down by Munoz, and then back to Richards, and he's under pressure from Watkins, so has to turn, change his body shape and shuffle it back to Henderson away to our right-hand side.
Well, you tend to look at Aston Villa and think they're such a dynamic side, and their ability once they win the ball to run through teams and build up momentum, but actually out of possession, very structured into a very, very narrow 4-4-2, and they will sit there. They're not a team that like to press high up. He likes them to sit in a good structure defensively, not let you play through the middle at least. So there might be some joy for Munoz and Mitchell out wide.
And that's where the space is, because of the fact they play two almost narrow number 10s in behind the striker. At the moment it looks a little bit more like you've got a back four, two, and then three so close and tucked in behind Watkins. They're clogging up that middle area of the pitch, so all of the space is out wide, but Cash and Digne also like to get forward as well, so there'll be interesting battles between them and the respective fullbacks on the opposite side, Tyreek Mitchell and Daniel Munoz. Here is Cash picking the ball up from deep, then trying to fire that forward. It took a deflection because it wasn't the best ball from Matt Cash. Wrestling back between Cash and Eze, ends with the ball spilling into the path of Mitchell, halfway up on the left-hand side in Aston Villa territory. It runs kindly for Konza, and Aston Villa have possession again. Newcastle ended their long wait for silverware this season. Can Crystal Palace or Aston Villa do that for themselves?
Just that first little touch there for Eze. Does he have nerve endings? I'm not sure he does. He tried to nutmeg Kamara when it was an easy pass just inside to Ismail Assar. He's just that type of player that won't feel the pressure of today and want to be the star.
He was pretty much nonchalant about his volley, which went harrowing into the grass and then beyond David Raya on Wednesday night. Anthony Taylor stopped the game actually because there's too many balloons on the pitch, so he's asked for Dean Henderson to come out and pop them. He popped one, there's still another over on the far side, and Anthony Taylor has gone back and picked the ball up, then given an uncontested drop ball to Emi Martinez.
Has he got a thing about balloons?
Yeah, any balloon, yeah. He doesn't like the blue balloons. Maybe it's a sort of superstitious thing with Anthony Taylor. Here is Asensio onto Cash. Back into Asensio from Rodgers. He's on halfway, just right of the centre circle. Floats it high, diagonally out towards the left, taken down well by Watkins, who's immediately engaged by Munoz. He then links up with Dean, and Luca Dean then progresses into the left wing position, cuts it back into Tielemans. Tielemans so intelligent on the ball, plays it forward, gives it into Asensio. The run is blocked down that left-hand side for Luca Dean. He collides with Munoz, and it goes out for a throw-in over on the far side. And he was looking for a free kick there, was Luca Dean, suggesting he was pushed. The referee Anthony Taylor said, get up, get on with it.
Yeah, there wasn't enough contact for the way that he fell to the floor, and Anthony Taylor didn't fall for it. I think just a moment there when Asensio got it, though, in plenty of space, because there's only two of them in there, Kamara and Wharton. If Aston Villa get it right, they can almost box them in with a four that they'll have in there and be able to play through.
Villa last reached the semi-finals 10 years ago, inspired by Jack Grealish. I was here that day to watch him absolutely dominate Liverpool. 9 years ago, Palace reached the FA Cup final under Alan Pardew and thought they'd won it, only for Manchester United to snatch it in extra time. And Alan Pardew will be back on your airwaves tomorrow evening after we finish the second semi-final here on Talksport between Nottingham Forest and Manchester City. Ball thrown back into the heart of the Villa defence. It's Pau Torres across to Ezri Konsa. Konsa, who's played over 100 appearances for Unai Emery, who says he's happy to play him at right back, centre back, anywhere. He thinks he's great all over the park. Pau Torres to his left, dabs it back towards Dean, and then returns the ball to the Spaniard, who is really the first choice centre back. And then here is Kamara, who's like the keystone of that midfield. He's had such a torrid time with injuries that he's absolutely vital to them. He's got the ball now, exchanging passes with Rodgers and driving forward over the halfway line. He's just the right of centre when he lays it off to Matt Cash, goes back to Konsa. But Crystal Palace were in good shape there, and they had enough ability to shut the door before Kamara could barge his way through.
Yeah, we're going to have long periods of this in the game for both sides, because they both sit in a good structure. Formationally, it's different, but they will still sit off and allow the centre-backs, so Pau Torres and Konsa will have plenty of the ball, and likewise the three centre-backs for Crystal Palace, when they have the ball, it's about the patience defensively, knowing when to jump out of your space and close down. Still pretty cagey though at the moment.
Aston Villa 0, Crystal Palace 0. I'm on Talksport. Ball over on the far side. It's with Luca Dean of France, usually a reliable source of crosses, up there with Pedro Porro in terms of his supply line. But we've seen a lot of this over the course of the last couple of minutes or so, with Aston Villa just holding onto the ball inside their own half. But they get it up towards Rodgers now, through to Watkins, out wide to Cash. This is what they want to do. Getting up high inside opposition territory now with Rodgers, who tries to turn away from a couple of challenges. Looks to poke it through past Mitchell. One back by Kamara and Cash. And Kamara's going to the edge of the area before he's halted by the referee's whistle. And the foul was given against Matt Cash, I think. He was coming from the blind side of Mark Gay, and a free kick was given against him.
And that's what it might take to break through the structure, is quick thinking and a bit of technical excellence, which Rodgers showed. It fired into him, he just flicked it instantly around the corner to Watkins. It's that fast thinking that's going to get them through the Palace defence.
Aston Villa offered the perfect response to their Champions League exit last weekend with an aggressive front foot display against Newcastle United. They need a similar response to the defeat in midweek by Manchester City. I was there on Tuesday night for Talksport, and it was one of those games actually where they managed it really well for most of the 90 minutes, but switched off right at the end and conceded a late goal. And late goals have been a bit of a problem for Aston Villa over the course of the season. Cost them dear. Of course, it was that late goal which Unai Emery initially dismissed in Paris, but actually ended up knocking them out of the Champions League.
Yeah, it felt that way, didn't it? At the time, it was, again, in that game, they'd hung on to try and see if they could get an equaliser. To concede so late on was a real blow to them. And I think it's that urgency to try and get equalisers, get winners, which is obviously a positive thing from Unai Emery, but it at times then costs them at the back.
Most of the touches so far have been Luca Dean, Pau Torres, Ezri Konsa and Matt Cash, but Luca Dean is trying to escape over the halfway line, and he's played the ball forward looking to find Ollie Watkins. Lequara's just come out and met the ball in front of Watkins, and then just tucked it straight out the way for a throw-in because he didn't want to take any chances, but he had gifted Luca Dean the opportunity to try and send the ball into the box here. He does possess a very good long throw. He's decided against doing that, shoves it back to Pau Torres instead, and Villa will look to build through the midfield. Just in front of the centre circle is Kamara, his big hair flopping around. The smoke that had cloaked Wembley prior to the first 5 minutes of the game has dissipated now, and a bit of sunshine is trying to peek through, and a bit of sunshine in terms of movement and energy and style was trying to peek through from Crystal Palace then, but Ismail Assar just played the ball down the right side and straight out of play and away for a throw-in, and it remains 0-0.
Yeah, I think they'll both be looking for those wide areas. Actually, Aston Villa, last time Luca Dean just got down the left-hand side, what they will want is one of those almost narrow wide players, number 10s, to try and draw out Munoz and Mitchell, so then the fullbacks Cash and Digne can push on and overload.
It's interesting, isn't it, because these two teams are in slightly different positions. Twin aims for Aston Villa. They want to get into the top 5, but they also want to try and win a trophy, a major trophy. 1957 the last time they lifted this competition. They haven't won a major trophy since the mid-90s under Brian Little, whereas Crystal Palace, all their eggs really are in this basket, bearing in mind they can't really achieve much through the Premier League. Ball tossed in from the right fullback position, picked off by Asensio though, and then Kamara goes for goal from distance, and he caught it really well and drove it towards the top corner, but it was misguided and 5 yards over the top of the bar. Our first shot in anger goes to Aston Villa, 0-0.
Well, inherently he will more likely sit there for Aston Villa, but that's now a couple of times he's just seen a bit of space, burst into it, this time looking to strike, never got the ball out of his feet enough to really then be able to control the height of the shot. Got too close to it, dug it out. Decent strike, but still, when you're so close to it, it's always difficult to then keep that down.
We were hoping for a lot more entertainment in the early exchanges, bearing in mind that any game involving Aston Villa or Crystal Palace seems to bring with it goals and entertainment. The cup ties involving Palace this season have been full of goals, and before Villa's setback in midweek, they'd scored 3 against Saints, 3 against Paris Saint-Germain, and got 4 against Newcastle United. And Palace have got leaky over the last few weeks. But nothing really to shout about so far. We played 13 minutes at Wembley, and it is a big day for Aston Villa and for Crystal Palace, and most of the seats in Wembley are filled this afternoon as Pau Torres takes the ball up towards the halfway line. It's just left of the centre circle. He's at walking pace, tall and lean and languid. He moves forward, then just plays it square to Ezri Konsa. Konsa puts his foot on the ball, looks up, gives it to Cash, who's just right of centre, then out to Rodgers again. Rodgers tries to trickle his way past Tyreek Mitchell, but Mitchell, who's been linked with a move in the summer to Tottenham Hotspur, manages to get the ball out of play, and it's away for another Villa throw.
He's one of a number of consistent performers for Crystal Palace. Mitchell, I think he's been slightly unlucky not to get the call international.
When you say that, because on my sheet in front of me I've got here, Dean Ashton can't believe he's not in the England squad.
No, I think he's been so consistent. I can't believe he hasn't been given an opportunity. And sometimes it then, it does make you feel whether it's an unfancied club in Crystal Palace, and it would have annoyed him, I bet, as well, seeing the likes of Wharton and Eze being given that shout of gay heat, and he would probably feel that he deserved one.
Ball sent long by Emi Martinez up towards the left, and Watkins now trying to juggle with the ball and take it away from Lequai. Does well, takes it up into the left wing position, then turns it back to Digne. They then go all the way back to the halfway line. Again, they're more content to hold on to possession than try and force the issue, and possession really has belonged to Aston Villa in the opening 14 minutes of the game. Crystal Palace have hardly kicked it. I mean, apart from the odd intervention to rob Palace of possession and clear it over the halfway line, it's just been pretty much sedate Aston Villa possession with the odd thrust forward.
Yeah, which is pretty normal for Crystal Palace. 17th for average possession in the Premier League. So they're not a team that won lots of the ball. They're a team that will look to break on the opposition. But they are being ultra cautious at the moment, allowing so much time for the Aston Villa defenders just to get their head up and pick a pass with no pressure on themselves whatsoever.
Well, the quarter-final was following this sort of pattern. In fact, actually, in the quarter-final, Fulham had even more of the ball and more attempts in the first 15-20 minutes of that game, and then all of a sudden Palace were leading 2-0. So it's a recipe that has worked for them in the past. What sort of recipe has been working in the Women's Six Nations at Twickenham? Half-time for Lisa O'Sullivan.
Well, France hanging on. They were ahead for 2 minutes early on in this match thanks to a converted try. England powered back from 5-7 down, 4 tries in 14 minutes to lead 31-7. But some errors towards the end of this first period has allowed France in with another couple of tries. And at the break, it's England 31, France 21.
We've played 15-16 minutes of the game here at Wembley. It's Palace 0, Aston Villa 0. A long ball forward towards Mateta, who's still wearing that water polo protective helmet. It's not really a helmet, it's really an ear guard, but it looks a little bit like a water polo helmet after the injury sustained in this competition in the 5th round against Millwall. Roy Hodgson here today, watching on for Crystal Palace. A Crystal Palace fan, former Crystal Palace manager, as Pau Torres picks it up again. You're listening to Talksport and Sirius XM FC, live at Wembley Stadium in the FA Cup with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. Ball forward into McGinney, trying to tuck it round the corner for Watkins. Lacroix was alert to it, and now Mateta looks to break. He skipped away from Kamara. Kamara brought him down right on the cusp of the centre circle, and a yellow card for Kamara, which might be key. 17 minutes gone. Mateta was threatening to escape. Kamara took emergency action and gets booked.
It was brilliant physical work from Mateta, but not only that, the footwork and the close control was excellent to hold the ball up and twist away and drive away from Kamara. Drew him into the challenge. There's a free kick, and of course a yellow card for Kamara in that position is always going to be difficult, but just a couple of moments there for Palace, and Mateta in particular nearly getting himself in behind when Eze dropped really deep and put a ball over the top.
He is the anchor man, isn't he? Boubacar Kamara. Horrific ACL, but he's much better now. Here's Lacroix with a header from the free kick, which is sent wide down towards the right-hand side. Headed out at the box and retrieved by Richards, who's in the right-wing position, down by the corner flag. Tries to drive the cross in. It's blocked by John McGinn, and it bounces out for a throw-in over on the far side. 0-0 Palace against Aston Villa in the FA Cup semi-final on Talksport. Nottingham Forest, Manchester City tomorrow. And we've got the big boxing tonight, Eubank Ben, live from 8 o'clock when we finish here at Wembley Stadium. Throw in from Richards into the penalty area, flicked away by Pau Torres, further clear by Luca Dean, comes out to Mitchell, who recycles it with a crossfield ball. Not a great header by Rodgers. He sends it into the penalty area. It might drop kindly here for Gueye. It doesn't. Kamara picks it up, sends it forward, and now a chance to escape on the counter-attack for Morgan Rodgers, who powers forward down the right-hand side, looks to take on Mitchell, takes him on, outpaces him, puts his body across Mitchell. Mitchell brings him down, yellow card.
Yeah, it's excellent from Morgan Rodgers. He's quicker than you think as well. I've seen him drive past many a Premier League player this season. And that close control, he just faked to slow down and then just pulled the ball with him as he accelerated away, and Mitchell then just got hold of the back of his shirt and dragged him down. Really clever play from Rodgers.
This gives Aston Villa a chance to try and create something from a set piece, and they're pretty good from set pieces. And as you would imagine, as happens up and down the country, whenever there is an attacking set piece, a team with a very well-known set-piece coach will come out and stand on the edge of the technical area. Adrian very much enjoys seeing that, and Austin McPhee has just taken his place in the dugout as Asensio looks to curl this one in. It's from the wide right position 6 yards in from the touchline right side. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger. McGinn, Pau Torres, Ezri Konza, Ollie Watkins all in there. It's aimed in towards Konza and it's headed away by Chris Richards, who sort of almost headed that as if he was going to net it into the top corner, but it went wide of the post and out for a corner kick.
Yeah, it was an unusual header really defensively to head it so close to your own goal, but all the Aston Villa players were towards the near post and it was just played over the top of them all.
Here is the corner then to be taken by Asensio now. A second chance for him to whip a ball in. He does so towards the near post. It's not the greatest of deliveries. It took a flick off Tielemans. I think it went straight behind. Tielemans is not sure about that. In fact, he's protesting to Anthony Taylor. I don't think Gary Bezic, who's the assistant on this near side, got a clear view of it and decided that, just play it safe and give a goal kick.
Exactly that. They had no idea. Both looked at each other, probably both spoke to each other. Goal kick. Classic.
Tielemans wasn't very happy about it. He's been in impressive form. He's registered a goal or an assist in each of the last five, in 5 of the last 6 games in all competitions. He is the tempo setter, the orchestrator, the man who can drive from midfield. He can pick a pass. He's not got the legs and the speed of others in his team, but he's the one who can provide the bullets. It's been a big day up and down the country in the world of football, which have been relegated from the Premier League. Crucial win for Chelsea in the race for Champions League places. Jamie Vardy missed a penalty as Leicester lose again. Luton moved out the bottom 3 after they beat playoff chasing Coventry. Plymouth relegated, Cardiff relegated. Wrexham can be promoted this evening. Here on the right side, Sarr chips across into the box. I mean, it's overhit by a mile and goes out and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. He got into a good position. It was about 30 yards from goal. It was from a deep position really that he decided to cross that, but he way overhit it.
Yeah, I mean, sadly he loaded his foot with a cannon and just blasted it into the crowd. It's just so disappointing when you get yourself into a great position, and I'm talking from the striker's perspective, and you make that darting run, a little shuffle to the right, dart to the near post, and then it goes over your head. It is frustrating.
Do you exchange words in scenarios like that?
Yes. I won't say what.
No, don't. I can imagine. It's been a bit of a frustrating time for Crystal Palace, actually, because they did have such a brilliant period in January, February and March, but they haven't won any of the last 4 Premier League games. Here is McGinn chipping the ball down the left-hand side, looking for Watkins. Watkins taking on Lacroix. And then tried a little skill to flick it back to Dean and got it all wrong and gave the ball back cheaply to Crystal Palace, who have Eze on it. McGinn does brilliant to bustle him away. Again, there's more balloons on the pitch. The referee's not happy, but Aston Villa have it on halfway. And that's been another problem. Whenever they have threatened to look as if they're going to escape, Aston Villa have done something to stop them from getting over the halfway line, by and large.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they've flooded that middle part of the pitch as they're struggling to get on it, which is why he went so deep 10 minutes ago to play that ball.
It's a lovely flick. Here's by Watkins into Asensio as the ball goes up to him. He was caught from behind by Kamada. That's going to be a free kick. It was a good little interchange between him and Asensio, and it was vital actually that Gay had come across to put the ball out. In fact, I think he hasn't given a free kick against Kamada. He said play on, and it is going to be that throw-in that Gay gave away. So it's with Digne over on the left-hand side, having thrown the ball in, got it back again, then trying to get a crossing which was blocked. That's smuggled out for a throw-in down by the corner flag, and it remains 0-0.
Yeah, most of the attacking threat is coming down that left-hand side, whether it is Watkins peeling out and in behind Richards, or whether it is Luca Dean who's really pushing forwards on the left-hand side.
All cross into the centre. Asensio misses it, comes through to Rodgers, who strikes on the half volley into the ground and wide. And it just flashed through the face of the 18-yard box after Tielemans returned it to Digne. It passed, I think, 7 different bodies before it came through to Rodgers at the far post, and then with his left foot he angled the ball into the ground and it bounced up and went whizzing past the upright.
Yeah, I think it was Asensio missing it completely that bamboozled most of the Crystal Palace defenders. It's a wicked ball in from Luca Digne, plenty of pace on it along that 6-yard line. And the fact that Asensio missed it, Lacroix had a swipe at it, and the same for Rodgers, who dug it into the ground and couldn't get the direction. It's half a chance for him though.
Kamada just stood there with his arms behind his back and looked at it as it went past it. That foul on John McGinn. Who's that that's gone down there? Matt Cash who's gone down over on the far side. Collision with Eze. And it's going to be a free kick on the edge of the centre circle. Matt Cash getting helped back to his feet. I think it was a trailing arm there that caught him on the top of the forehead from Eberici Eze. Oh no, it was a high foot which just grazed the front of his forehead. It was nothing more than a graze though. It wasn't a Jean-Philippe Mateta situation, that's for sure.
No, it wasn't. No. But both teams just having the odd flash at the moment, the odd flash of what could come.
0-0 at Wembley, FA Cup semi-final day. And what has been a busy day up and down the country. Here is Matt Cash clipping the ball forward, looking for the run of Rodgers. Rodgers trying to turn into Asensio, looks to get it back again, can't do so, so it's picked up by Gay. Gay turns into a bit of trouble but wriggles out of it, finds Kamada. He looks to try and get past Asensio. Asensio clips his ankles, free kick given just short of the halfway line. And it's been a bit scrappy, it's been a little bit bitty, hasn't really got into full flow yet. It is an FA Cup semi-final, and there's, as you illustrated before the game, so much at stake for everybody.
It's difficult to relax. It's really difficult when the stakes are so high and you want to implement what the manager's asked for and you want to be structurally sound and not give anything away. It's then hard to show some freedom in your play.
Richards has it on halfway for Crystal Palace, who haven't even as much as looked at Emi Martinez yet, let alone tested him. The only real shot in anger that we've had is the Morgan Rogers one. We did have a speculative drive from Kamara as well, which went over the top of the crossbar. Most of the attacking has been done by Aston Villa in the opening exchanges here. Richards has it halfway. He moves up, plays it out wide, gets a return from Munoz and gets it all the way back to Lacroix, who's just in front of the centre circle, inside his own half. He elevates the ball high out to the right-hand side. It's spinning and drops for Mitchell. Gives it to Eze, gets it back again. Mitchell's first-time cross goes all the way through the penalty area, flicked away by Digne, and then eventually cleared further by Asensio. Dangerous ball in from Mitchell, which Aston Villa didn't look too comfortable dealing with. Here is Eze, 10 yards back from the edge of the area. Runs laterally and then goes all the way back to Richards.
It was a good position for Mitchell though. Really clever play from Eze with the header down towards him. I saw Mateta make that run. He was between the two centre-backs, so the ball would have had to have been perfect from Mitchell. Couldn't quite achieve it and allowed Konsa to intercept.
Back on halfway with Lacroix. 28 gone, Talksport. Here is Gay, who is so good in one-on-one situations, strong and often very well positioned. She was sent off a couple of weeks ago for a challenge, 2 challenges here against Brighton, which uncharacteristic from him. It's one of those grudge matches that gets the blood flowing at a different rate though. And this might be a similar sort of thing really, not a grudge match but a game that just ups the tempo and the pace, and the adrenaline throwing through your body, makes you a little bit more tentative. The thoughts might be racing but the body just a little bit more hesitant. Here is Mateta trying to get the better of Konsa, has got the better of Konsa and is allowed to play on, slips it past the goalkeeper and in, but the referee's going to give a foul.
And rightly so. It's pretty obvious to me actually. It sort of feels as if he just kicks through the back of the calf of Konsa as he's about to try and control it and flick it away. It means he then misses the ball. Mateta's through as if it was just a clean mistake, puts it in the back of the net. Whereas I'm pretty sure he knows that he just did enough in terms of the contact for it to be a foul.
It wasn't as sort of physical as maybe you would have thought. It just sort of, I don't know, just sort of kick out as he tried to go past him, maybe just caught him.
Well, I think he caught the foot that Konsa was about to use to clear the ball.
Yeah.
But it actually wasn't as much contact as I first thought.
It was maybe a little bit generous from Anthony Taylor, who I think allowed the play to continue because he wanted the ability to be able to review it with the VAR. The VAR did have a look at it and realised that there was no clear and obvious error. So it remains 0-0 despite Palace having the ball in the back of the net and actually giving the first warning of their counter-attacking abilities. It remains goalless. What about the game at the Racecourse Ground? It's absolutely crucial for Wrexham. If they win, they're up. Here's Matt Jones.
And the deadlock has just been broken. Wrexham 1, Charlton 0. Ollie Rathbone is having the best goal-scoring season of his career, and he's just added an 8th. A short corner taken to the edge of the area. He shifts it onto his right boot and lashes it into the bottom corner. A brilliant finish, and the stands around me have erupted. Wrexham 1, Charlton 0.
Here is Eze, edge of the area, right-footed shot, slams it in. It's terrific from Eberici Eze. A sloppy bit of play from Pau Torres gave the ball to Sarr. He sent it back to the edge of the 18-yard box, and Eze has slammed it home. 1-0 Palace after half an hour.
Nerve endings in his body, 0. Magic in his boots, though. What a talent. It's brilliant from Ismaila Sarr, the work he puts in to close down Torres, get the ricochet and then run onto it, lay it towards the edge of the box. How calm was he as he approached it, Eze? He didn't sprint towards it, he just calmly waltzed up towards it and then whips it with the inside of his foot right across Martinez into the roof of the net. It's a stunning finish from Eberici Eze.
It's a brilliant finish, and Pau Torres actually has made a huge error there by giving that ball away, giving it to Ismaila Sarr, who's in brilliant form. That's his 6 assists of the season. He sent it back from the right wing position to a congested edge of the penalty area, really, but picked out Eberici Eze, who right-footed under pressure has hit that with such venom and such pace that Emi Martinez just doesn't have the time to react, can't reach it. It's in the top of the net in the blink of an eye, and Crystal Palace, with their first shot on target in the match, lead by 1-0.
I mean, the technique is absolutely perfect. As he waltzes up towards it, it's then the speed of the last 2 steps to get the pace on the ball, but also his head just stays so still over the ball. There's no leaning back, there's no imbalance. His head is so still and forwards, and it allows the ball then to be really whipped with no height to put it over the bar. It's brilliant from Eze.
Well, the encouragement will come for Aston Villa by the fact that they will look back at last weekend and see that Crystal Palace had a 2-goal advantage, almost a 3-goal advantage against Manchester City, and still managed to contrive to lose by 5-2. So it's not as if they've been keeping clean sheets, but Aston Villa have just got to up their ante a little bit, really, and try and make some more opportunities, because for all their domination in the opening half an hour, a bit like the quarter-final when they played against Fulham, the opponents might have dominated the ball, but it's Crystal Palace who are on the scoreboard. 1-0 to Palace. Here is the corner, driven in towards the near post, set back towards McGinn, and he almost got there, but Adam Wharton reacted really well. It was a choreographed move. Back into Pau Torres, who rises on the edge of the 6-yard box and heads it over the top of the crossbar.
Well, we've seen that routine, haven't we, this season already from corners. Tielemans in towards Asensio, flat along the floor to the near post, a little outside of the foot flick to the player that's then driving towards the penalty spot, which was McGinn. Just missed him. He would have been free, just away from him. And then as it was recycled back, it was a decent ball in. It was a brilliant leap from Pau Torres up and above Lacroix. Did well to control the header, really, to be anywhere near the goal, but still was over the top.
Wembley has not been an easy place for Aston Villa in recent times. They've lost 6 of their last 8 visits here, but Watkins is coming forward now. Henderson comes out, heads the ball on the edge of the 18-yard box. Needn't have bothered. Watkins was offside. Yeah, their last visit to Wembley was in the League Cup final of 2020. They were beaten by Manchester City 2-1. Their 2 wins in that run of 6 defeats in 8 came against Liverpool in the FA Cup semi-final of 2015 and in the Championship playoff final against Derby County back in 2019. But it's glum looks on the faces of the Aston Villa supporters. Glum looks or gleeful looks on the faces of the Wrexham supporters. Matt Jones.
They are absolutely bouncing here. It's Wrexham 2, Charlton 0. Sam Smith has just doubled their lead with 18 minutes on the clock. A floated ball over the top, and he wonderfully hooks it past the goalkeeper and into the corner. The Wrexham fans are bouncing at the moment. They're heading to the Championship. Wrexham 2, Charlton 0.
What a story that is. Barnet, champions today after their victory. They're promoted from the National League. Doncaster promoted from League 2. Port Vale promoted from League 2 today. And Wrexham on the way to being promoted from League 1, leading Charlton right now at the racecourse ground. Bad day for Cardiff and Plymouth in the Championship. Bad day for Ipswich, who were relegated in the Premier League. And so far, good day for Crystal Palace, who lead in the FA Cup semi-final by 1-0 against Aston Villa with 10 minutes to go before half-time. And I'm just wondering, Unai Emery, who he was quite insistent to me on Tuesday night. He played a good game. He was frustrated. I could see him sort of moving as if he was sort of something had been snatched away from him at the last minute, which it was, in effect. We're a little bit frustrated with the way his team have failed to create opportunities in this game, Dean.
Yeah, he will, especially with the possession that they've had. It's been mainly deep. And you said it. It's what Crystal Palace do. They don't seem that interested, in a good shape, and then all of a sudden, their forward players or a combination of the three do something quite special, and they've got that excitement back again the second half of the season, as they did last season. And Elise was part of that.
Great touch in by McGinn, back to Asensio, lifts it over the top of the Palace defence. Mitchell gets back into position, heads it away. Kamara takes it on for Aston Villa, turns it back in field. Rogers back to Kamara, right side, under pressure. Rogers comes to receive it again, looks to try and win a foul, and does exactly that. And do you know what? That was him winning a foul. He wasn't actually, even if he got the ball there, he weren't really going anywhere, Morgan Rogers, because there were so many players of a red and blue persuasion around him. He just got his body into the right position where he could draw a foul and win a free kick for Villa.
Yeah, he's got those physical attributes, and that desire to work is there for Morgan Rogers. Put his arm across and then took a horrible collision in the end, as the challenge was made by Gay with Mitchell, who was diving in as well. He took a whack in the face.
He got a knee in the chin, didn't he? Free kick is going to be given. In fact, I don't even think the free kick's been given here, It's a throw-in Anthony Taylor is given.
Take one straight in the mush and you don't even get the free kick.
That's a little bit harsh. Kamara into Tielemans, back to Konza, across to Pau Torres. Pau Torres, who made the mistake for the Eze goal, plays it out towards the left-hand side, given to Digne. Digne now sends it on. Now it's taken up by McGinn, uses his body really well, gets it centrally. Kamara takes it wide to Cash. Cash in a good position, needs some help though, because Palace got everyone behind the ball at the moment. Kamara takes over again, or he runs into a bit of a cul-de-sac, and he's given the ball away to Mateta, and you don't want to do that on the halfway line. He bursts forward now, holds the ball up well, takes on Konza, beats him, drives down the left side of the box. He's got options in the area. Sarri's arriving, he heads the ball over the bar, and it's just wide of the bar actually, and it actually ended up bouncing and spinning back into play, and Tielemans had to head it to his goalkeeper. And the last thing you want to do is give Mateta an opportunity like that. Now caught up the field. Villa go on the counter hunt. They get the ball on the left-hand side out to Watkins. Watkins into the area, drives past Richards, pulls it through the 18-yard box. The block comes in from Lacroix and deflects it behind and away for a corner kick over on the far side. It's 1-0 to Palace.
Yeah, a couple of moments for the centre forwards. Jean-Philippe Mateta, first of all, just outstanding, driving down the left-hand side. Just dangled a little bit of bait, didn't he, for Konsa? And the minute he went for a bite, he just pulled it away and whipped past him, drove into the box. Great ball in for Sarr, who couldn't direct the header. And then Watkins down the other end, powering and not being able to get that cross in.
Palace 1, Aston Villa 0. Here's the corner kick, Asensio with the delivery. Up there is Konsa with a header, down, smuggled away by Henderson, who just about got a strong fist to it. And pushes it out into the box, it's cleared away. Back in by Rogers, flashes through the box. Did it hit an arm of Kamada? Referee says no play on, but all of a sudden a bit of Aston Villa pressure just to unsettle the Crystal Palace back line. And Henderson had to be at his most alert to stop from Ezri Konsa. Back out wide it goes to Rogers. Rogers down by the corner flag right side. Faces up Mitchell. Goes to go on the outside and get to the byline. A cross takes a deflection, goes out. It's another corner.
Yeah, it was a decent header again under pressure. This time Konsa heading it down. Henderson does brilliantly. Almost just squats down to make sure feet together, hands in a position not to let that go through him and make the save. Just needed his defenders to be there to mop it up.
hung in the air brilliantly there, Conza, to get that header in. It was a good stop by a falling Dean Henderson, who was sort of going down on one knee as the corner comes in towards the near post. Again, it flashes through the box. Again, there's an accusation of a handball. It's hacked away and turned down by Anthony Taylor. The half-hearted asks from the Villa fans that was a handball, but we've nearly played 40 minutes now. It's still 1-0 to Palace. Palace still have had very little of the ball, very little opportunity apart from the goal that they have scored, which was a well-taken hit, brilliantly struck individual goal, the only shot on target in the game from Eberici Eze.
Well, they've responded well, Aston Villa. There's been a bit more energy to the play. Watkins and Rogers involved. It's going to be important.
Here is Pau Torres turning the ball back towards halfway and giving it to Ezri Konsa. Palace now almost in a back five, protecting Dean Henderson's goals. A crunching challenge from Canada. Whistle has been blown, free kick has been given.
He's a little unlucky, actually. Reads it really well. Sprints out towards Tielemans, who doesn't see him. Makes a good challenge, but takes maybe a bit too much of Tielemans for the referee's liking. But it was the initiative, wasn't it, from Canada to see that opportunity. If he wins it there, again, Ezer and Mateta can be away 2v2.
Chelsea-Barcelona in the Women's Champions League semi-final. Chelsea with a big deficit to make up at home tomorrow. Commentary on Talksport 2 from 2 o'clock. Nottingham Forest Man City on Talksport from 4:30. Lyon Arsenal over on Talksport 2. Second leg of the semi-final of the Champions League for the women as well. That's on 5 o'clock on Talksport 2. Monday night, Leeds against Bristol City, big game in the title race in the Championship, but also important for Bristol City as well, who want to get into the playoffs. Wednesday night, Barcelona against Inter Milan in the Champions League semi-final first leg. Thursday night, what a night across the Talk network. Let me explain to you what's happening. Nottingham Forest against Brentford in the Premier League on 2. Athletic Bilbao against Manchester United in the Europa League semi-final on 1. And on Talk Radio or on the Talksport app, Tottenham against Bodo Glimt in the semi-finals of the Europa League. Good footwork by Aston Villa to play the ball through the middle of the park. Kamara through the legs of Kamada and on towards Watkins, who was fouled from behind by Lacroix. As a result of that, the free kick has been given 5 yards in front of the centre circle for Aston Villa as we go into the final 3 minutes of the half.
It seems an odd thing to say, but they're quite used to this sort of game and position, Aston Villa. You know, they're very good at being able to kind of blank almost the scoreline out and then suddenly become this team that can build momentum.
Tielemans with a big delivery to the far post. Torres didn't get hold of it, but McGinn has recycled it, and the diving header which came in from Konza almost connected. It flashes through the 18-yard box, goes to the right side. Rogers against Mitchell's in turning into an interesting battle. It's into the centre. I think he'd already taken it beyond the white line there, Rogers. And a goal kick is given to Crystal Palace, who lead.
Well, you'd be disappointed if you're Watkins and Konsa, because the ball in from John McGinn's absolutely brilliant. But it catches them out. They're not expecting it. He just swivels and whips it in with his left foot from that left-hand side. Both players just on their heels slightly, couldn't get on the end of it, but it was there to be taken, really.
A little bit of frustration from Konsa. He knows he's had a couple of good opportunities now. Certainly, the first of his headers could have caused an issue. Jean-Philippe Mateta with an opportunity at the other end a few moments ago. That cross into the box, which I think hit Sarr in the face and then spun back in after it sort of went wide of the goal. But he did brilliantly to get beyond Konsa and Kamara in the first place. McGinn back to Kamara. He's on the halfway. Into Tielemans, who tries to turn. He does that, manages to funnel the ball out towards Luca Dean. The Frenchman gives it to the Belgian. The Belgian swishes it towards the right-hand side. And the Pole, Matt Cash, who is back in the team now after suffering all season with calf and thigh injuries.
I think you should keep going with this.
Onto the Spaniard Asensio, gets into the box, gives it to Cash again, and then Cash goes down, but Asensio has struck. The ball is deflected away by Lacroix, and here comes the Englishman Eze.
Important, very important from Lacroix. to come across there. Asensio looking to curl that into the far corner.
They're breaking at pace though, and Wharton has swished the ball out towards the right hand side of Munoz, and now Sarr's got it down the right side of the box, and Tyreek Mitchell is arriving, and he miskicks inside the 18-yard box. A glorious chance back out to Eze, edge of the D, sends it wide towards the right, collected by Munoz again. His cross is blocked by Dean, and it goes out on the far side. Tyreek Mitchell has just had a golden chance to put Palace 2-0 up, and he's fluffed his lines. Here's Munoz again, left-footed, cross to the far post, flicked away by Rodgers, corner kick. Dean Ashton, what a chance.
Oh, what a mess is what it was from Tyreek Mitchell, because it's brilliant again from Crystal Palace on the break, down the right-hand side, brilliant ball in, cut back towards Mitchell, and he just goes with his weaker right foot. It's awful. He almost kicks himself rather than the ball. He just completely misses it. It's such a great opportunity. They should be 2-0 ahead. And there's no excuse at this level to not be able to kick the ball.
Well, his last goal was May last year against Manchester United. I think he'll be thinking about that one till next May. As the ball goes in from the corner, it flies to the penalty area, it's flicked on and then helped out by Lacroix. It goes out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. 1-0 to Crystal Palace, it should be 2. And an opportunity that Tyreek Mitchell, I think, will replay over and over and over again in his head, should Crystal Palace not get through to the FA Cup final.
Yeah, it won't be nice. It won't be nice. I mean, he got himself into such a great position. He didn't just watch as the left wing back. He made sure he drove in to be part of the attack. The ball came back towards him. You've just got to compose yourself. It's a game you've done all your life to just kick it.
Here is McGinn into Watkins at the other end. Aston Villa trying to forge a way back into the match. We're into the second of 2 added minutes at the end of the first half. It's with Tielemans out to Cash. Cash just in the sort of slender slither of sunshine which has just started to peek through the Wembley roof, which is coming from the end away to our right hand side, but it back to the halfway line. It's been a pretty sedate performance this by Aston Villa. They've had a lot of the ball, haven't done enough with it so far, and that will frustrate Unai Emery, who does have weapons on the bench, but no Marcus Rashford because of an injury. Ball on the right side, taken in by Rodgers, looking to flick it round the corner. Across comes Gay. That's the end of the first half, and Crystal Palace will be pretty satisfied. They've never beaten Aston Villa in the FA Cup, but thanks to Eberici Eze, they are 1-0 up at the break. If it hadn't have been for a missed kick from Tyreek Mitchell, they might already have 1 foot in the cup final. It's a big 45 minutes in Aston Villa's season upcoming. At the break, Crystal Palace lead by 1-0.
And what a good goal it was, and maybe Eberici Eze can teach Tyreek Mitchell how to kick a ball, possibly even at half-time, we'll see. But Dean Ashton, I mean, it's Wembley, it's the great stage, that the prize is to get into the FA Cup final, and then you go and produce that as the only goal of the first half. What a sensational finish it was. You could talk about mistakes in the build-up, that finish was special.
He's such a talented footballer, Eberici Eze, and you could tell that this experience and this atmosphere and the pressure that comes with this sort of game, as I talked about before the start, it just doesn't affect him. It doesn't. He's got this inner confidence that he's able to play with freedom. Early on, he's trying to nutmeg Camera in the middle of the pitch. That was after 3 minutes. So then when it comes to him on the edge of the box, there's no panic. There's that almost assurance that he knows exactly what he's doing. The technique is so good on it, in terms of his body position and being nicely over it and really balanced, but then being able to put superb amount of power on the strike to really whip it away from a top goalkeeper. It was just brilliant.
And it goes over Martinez, and he's not a small man by any means. A terrific finish. We'll get onto the Mitchell miss in a moment, but Sarr's header, I thought he could have done better. Mateta does really well, gets the ball in, and Ismaila Sarr, who's been in brilliant form, I think he's scored 3 against Villa already this season. It's like he's got a 50p on his head, because the ball goes nowhere near the goal. Surely he should be testing the keeper with that. It looked like a free header. Am I being harsh?
I think he was there to head it, and he got in position to head it. What I would say is sometimes it's hard to understand how difficult it can be when you've got that physical presence of the defender who knows he's not going to head it, but does everything he can to put you off heading it, in terms of, slamming into your body and putting his arms in the way. but he gets there, doesn't he? And he's got to head it towards goal. He misreads the flight of the ball and gets ahead of it, and then can't guide it into the back of the net. But they've been terrific. The few moments that they've had, they really know what they're doing, and they go with genuine pace and threat when they attack Aston Villa.
And the Tyrick Mitchell miss, listen, you're talking about him not being in the England squad, and maybe, and being serious here, it could be because he's so one-footed. That could be the reason why there's doubts about him at the very, very top level, Tyrick Mitchell. I mean, you should be able to kick a ball with both feet if you're a professional footballer, I personally think. If you're a Premier League footballer, definitely, sure.
Of course. And I always think with these situations, and it was talked about a lot when I was young, was that if in training that ball was passed to Tyrick Mitchell 10 times in training in a passing drill, he'd never miss it. Put a goal there, and the thought and the thrill of scoring, players miss the ball. It's bizarre what putting a goal there and what that means does to a lot of players, and that's all it is. He's capable of kicking the ball. Of course he is. He's a professional footballer. But he completely misses it because he gets this rush when you get in front of goal and you see the ball coming across and you can't control your functions like you should do. And it's bizarre to see him completely miss the ball when the goal's there, the big chance is there, and he misses it.
Villa have had loads of the ball. They've not done enough with it. What will he be saying at half-time?
He'll want a better speed to the way that they keep the ball. It's fine keeping the ball, of course it is, and it is what they do. Aston Villa, they're very slow and methodical at times, but their best threat is when it's quick and it's zipped and there's good movement, and there probably hasn't been that. A bit of credit to Crystal Palace. They do set up in a really good structure with that back three, but you want a bit more energy and pace to Aston Villa's play.
They need something different in the second half, something more in the second half, Aston Villa, because Crystal Palace lead here at Wembley, live on Talksport by 1-0. It's been brilliant off the pitch. The fans have been absolutely superb. It's been thrilling on the pitch as well. Palace have the advantage thanks to a great goal from Eberechi Eze. Let's update you from what's happening in the big game in League One. It looks like Wrexham are on their way up. Matt Jones.
Yeah, they're on the brink at the moment. 7 minutes to go until half-time, and it's Wrexham 2, Charlton 0. Charlton, remember, can take the promotion race to the last day of the season if they manage to get a win here, but they've not really laid a glove on Wrexham so far. Just the one chance for them when Tanae Watson got in behind Scar, but he then shot straight at a Conquo. We've just had one of those brief delays where the goalkeeper goes down injured and allows the managers to get some instructions onto the field to their team. Will Mannion, the Charlton goalkeeper, went down and looked at what Nathan Jones was doing, and he was having a real word with Tyrese Campbell, the Charlton striker, who's not really had a kick so far. From a Wrexham point of view, they have been brilliant. They've defended superbly, and Sam Smith has led the line wonderfully, of course, getting that second goal that at the moment, if they hold on, means they are heading to promotion. Wickham's defeat earlier means the equation is simple for Wrexham. If they win, they are going up for a historic third successive promotion. 5 or so minutes to go until half-time. It's Wrexham 2, Charlton 0.
Earlier in the Premier League, Chelsea beat Everton 1-0. Brighton, brilliant game live on Talksport 2, beat West Ham 3-2. Newcastle sent Ipswich down with a 3-0 win. Fulham came from behind to win at Southampton 2-1, and Wolves beat Leicester 3-0. Jamie Vardy missing a penalty. So Ipswich relegated in the Championship. Cardiff were relegated. Plymouth's goal difference is so bad they're effectively relegated in League One. Cambridge United were relegated today. Crawley and Bristol Rovers as good as down. Their goal difference so much worse than Burton's. In League Two, Doncaster and Port Vale promoted. Carlisle were relegated. Barnet promoted from the National League. Brackley went up from National League North. Truro went up from National League South. Celtic were crowned champions in Scotland, and in the Scottish Second Division, Peterhead were crowned champions as well. Here at Wembley, live on Talksport, Crystal Palace lead the first FA Cup semi-final by a brilliant 1-0.
The Emirates FA Cup, live on Talksport with Carling.
What a driver, what a goal! Oh, yes!
The official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Great result.
Thanks, Peter. Coming up, we have league action live on Friday night, followed by 3 more games live on Saturday, then 2 more massive games live on Sunday. And don't forget, league action live on Monday night. Then it's over to Europe for the big one, live on Tuesday. Then the even bigger one, live on Wednesday. Then it's the other European competition.
Sometimes a break isn't a bad idea. So, if ever you want to take time out from betting, use Paddy Power's Take a Break tool to pause your account. Paddy Power. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Co-op members now get prices matched to Aldi. Hold on, no way. Okay then, so Co-op members now get everyday essentials price matched to Aldi. So sign up and start saving. Co-op, owned by you, right by you. I wasn't expecting that.
Co-op member prices matched versus comparable products at Aldi GB. Co-op membership required. Co-op group food stores only. See co.co.uk/Aldi price match.
You could be a lotto millionaire like Terry. Get your ticket for tonight's draw. The National Lottery. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Yes, that price includes full technical support.
Oh dear, the Buy Now button on each page isn't clickable.
Layla's web development agency will soon have more clients than they can handle. To avoid a code red, she needs new programmers.
Okay, I've just tweaked the code, so everything should be fine now.
Indeed can help her find great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Because Indeed's hiring platform makes finding great talent easy. To start hiring, visit Indeed.com/try today.
From the underworld of Guy Ritchie, Mobland.
Name's Conrad Harrigan, family man. And if you cross my family, well, you'd better pray.
The Paramount Plus original series.
We shake the right hands, break the wrong ones.
Right now, I am in first gear. Would you like to see me shift to 6?
Starring Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, and Helen Mirren.
We've got everyone where we want them.
Mobland. Stream exclusively on Paramount Plus. T's and C's apply. Subscription required. 18 plus.
Make the most of longer, warmer days with Halford's biggest ever Easter sale. We've got up to 50% off loads of motoring and cycling products, like dash cams, bikes, cycling accessories, and more. Pop into your local Halfords today. Halfords, keep on moving for less. Offers subject to availability, full T's and C's and exclusions apply. See halfords.com for details.
At Betfair, we relish the plot twists that football's tense run-in delivers. With titles, promotions, and relegations on the line, the form book can take a back seat and the drama has the power to rewrite scripts. Get a free £10 bet when you bet £10 on Accas or Bet Builders on football this week. Betfair. Play different.
Opt-in and previous deposit required. Valid for 72 hours on Football Hackers or Bet Builders. Min combined odds of 1.5. T's and C's apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
The Women's Champions League live on Talksport 2.
Oh, it's in!
It's a make or break Super Sunday double. Chelsea versus Barcelona. Kick-off 2 p.m. Followed by Lyon versus Arsenal. Kick-off 5 p.m.
Right on the line!
2 games. Too close. Too hot to handle. The Women's Champions League on Talksport 2.
You're listening to FA Cup Game Day live on Talksport. It's Crystal Palace 1, Aston Villa 0 here at Wembley in the first semi-final. Let's take a listen to the half-time highlights in partnership with Carling.
Emirates FA Cup half-time highlights on Talksport with Carling. Brilliantly refreshing from the first sip to the last. 18 plus. Always drink responsibly.
Will it be the Villa or the Palace that takes the first place in the FA Cup final of 2025? Unai Emery and Oliver Glasner in charge today. And we're live on Talksport. Cross into the centre. Asensio misses it. Comes through to Rodgers, who strikes it on the half volley into the ground and wide. Here is Mateta trying to get the better of Konza. Has got the better of Konza and is allowed to play on. Slips it past the goalkeeper and in. But the referee's going to give a foul. Here is Eze. Edge of the area. Right footed shot. Slams it in. It's terrific from Eberechi Eze. A sloppy bit of play from Pau Torres. Gave the ball to Sarr. He sent it back to the edge of the 18-yard box. And Eze has slammed it home. 1-0 Palace after half an hour. Ball away to Mateta. And you don't want to do that on the halfway line. He bursts forward now. Holds the ball up well. Takes on Konza. Beats him. Drives down the left side of the box. He's got options in the area. Sarr is arriving. He heads the ball over the bar. Wharton has swished the ball out towards the right-hand side of Munoz, and now Sarr's got it down the right side of the box, and Tyreek Mitchell is arriving, and he miskicks inside the 18-yard box.
Crystal Palace lead 1-0 against Aston Villa. That was thanks to Carling.
Emirates FA Cup half-time highlights on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Second half coming up live here on Talksport, and then from 8 p.m. the focus switches to boxing for the long-awaited grudge fight between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. Live radio commentary on Talksport. The undercard is already underway over on Talksport 2. You can also watch Adam Cattrall, Spencer Oliver and the rest of the team do their thing on the Talksport YouTube channel and your smart TV as well. As well as all this, the Talksport Battle Bus is right in the middle of the action up in N17. There's a punching machine for fight fans to have a go on, and Ryan Scott Douglas is on the bus speaking to the punters.
I'm a stone's throw away from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Of course, it's Eubank Jr. versus Benn just a little bit later. And I'm joined by
Jake.
Jake, how are you, mate?
Yeah, really good, thanks, mate.
The atmosphere's bubbling nicely, isn't it?
Amazing, yeah, really looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah. Have you had a go in the machine yet?
No, not yet. Boy had a go on it, so yeah.
What did it? Oh, you're not the one who got one, are you?
No, we can't name and shame him like
sorry,
that.
I shouldn't have done that. Right, okay, so who are you picking today then? Who are you going for?
Eubank, yeah. From Brighton, come up to support him, so yeah, Eubank all the way for me.
Yeah? So that's who you want. How do you think that the fight is going to pan out in itself? See, that's a different question, isn't it?
Different question. I think it's going to be a tough one, but I do think sort of round sort of 7-8, I think Eubank, hopefully, I think he might get him out of there with the experience and all that, do you know what I mean? So yeah, Eubank corner for me.
He's in the Eubank corner and he thinks it's going to happen in the latter stages. What are you making of the build-up, by the way? Do you think it's... in terms of boxing, it sounds like you're a boxing fan. Do you think it's been a bit of a circus, or are you about that? You like it?
Amazing, mate. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, all this Talksport here. Listen to Talksport all the time at work. Build us, so that's on the go all the time. So yeah,
there you
all
go.
Good, mate. No,
amazing. There you go. He's got Talksport on all the time. He's in Eubank's corner, and he thinks it's going to be a Eubank win towards the latter stages of the fight. So let's see. Let's find out. Bosh.
Brilliant stuff. We will take you to Tottenham at 8 p.m. when we're done here. Let's quickly go to Wrexham half-time there, Matt Jones.
Well, there's still 2 minutes of added time to play, actually. It's Wrexham 2, Charlton 0. Those goals earlier coming from Ollie Rathbone, his 8th of the season, smashing home from outside the area, and then Sam Smith wonderfully converting a floated ball over the top of the defence by Matty James. There were appeals for offside, they were ignored, and Smith converted with a first-time finish. So Charlton trying to get back into it, but time running out before the break. Wrexham 2, Charlton 0.
Villa back out for the second half, waiting for Palace. I'll tell you that Championship final day is next Saturday. All 12 games kick off at 12:30. The title will be decided between Burnley and Leeds, and the playoff places will be decided as well. Bristol City, currently 5th, go to Leeds live on Talksport 2 Monday night. If they win, they're guaranteed playoffs. If they don't win, it's 5 teams going for 2 spare playoff places. Bristol City, Coventry, Millwall, Blackburn and Middlesbrough. Coventry against Middlesbrough will be live and exclusive on Talksport 2, 12:30 next Saturday. The one relegation place will be taken as well. And League 1 and League 2 final games, 3 p.m. next Saturday. I'll be at one of those, taking you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in. So players are out there on the Wembley turf, including Villa's Matt Cash, who's from Slough, just outside Warsaw. Palace leads 1-0, second half, live on Talksport with FA Cup final goal scorer Dean Ashton alongside Sam Matterface.
But he's a Polish international and can speak a bit of Polish, apparently, because his mum used to speak Polish. He is a Pole, hence why he is a Polish international, Matt Cash. By the way, Dean Ashton, did you think that Emi Martinez could have saved that Eze shot? Because that's been a bit of a debate at half-time.
Well, I think just because he's so close to it, and it's pretty central, but the pace is on the strike. You know, you're asking the goalkeeper to anticipate and move that quickly, very difficult.
So no changes at half-time for either Crystal Palace or for Aston Villa. Aston Villa all in white, shooting to our left in the second half, and Crystal Palace in those familiar blue and red jerseys, striped blue shorts and blue socks, attacking the goal away to our right-hand side. The FA Cup semi-finals have delivered some stunning games in the last few years, so anything could happen. Coventry against Manchester United last year was a particular highlight. I think maybe one of the best in recent times. Manchester City, Liverpool. Liverpool were storming towards victory, 3-0 up at half-time, and then City brought it back 3-2, and it was a brilliant last few minutes of that game. That was 3 years ago. Troy Deeney's Wembley semi-final. Eden Hazard dominating 2017 as Chelsea beat Tottenham 4-2. All great games. Maybe this one can burst into life in the second half and live up to that, Dean Ashton.
Well, it's going to be Aston Villa that need to do that, and need to force that. So we'll see if there's been a slight change in what the managers talked about. Crystal Palace won't. they'll love this. They can sit there and defend and wait to counter-attack some more.
Mateta with a header on towards the left-hand side as it goes down into that channel to try and receive it. Across comes the defender, Konza, and it's cleared out on this near touchline, and it's away for a throw-in. So it's Henderson in goal for Crystal Palace. The back three is Richards, Lacroix and Gay. Munoz, Wharton, Kamada and Mitchell, the midfield quartet, with Sarr and Eze supporting Mateta in attack. I'll do the Aston Villa line-up for you in just a second, but Palace have got the ball wide on the left. It's a short ball into Wharton, but they get away with it. Wharton tucks it to Kamada. It's picked up by Eze. Lovely feet, gets to the edge of the area. Right foot shot towards the far corner and cleared the bar by a couple of yards. It's out for a goal kick away to our right. So it's Emi Martinez in goal. A back four of Matt Cash, Ezri Konsa, Pau Torres, who made a mistake in the build-up to the goal, and Luca Dean. McGinn, Tielemans and Boubacar Kamara has been booked. Rodgers and Asensio behind Watkins in attack. And Aston Villa were very narrow in that first half. And McGinn really playing out on the left-hand side, but tucked in. And over on the right, Rodgers likes to come in as well. And Asensio just behind Ollie Watkins. But no Marcus Rashford because of a knock, and actually arguably been a bit of a miss in that first half, Dean.
Yeah, but he's been excellent, especially on the left-hand side for me. That dribbling ability and positivity in the way that he attacks the fullback. But what they have got is a stacked bench. They have, since January, the signings that they made, they have got players that they can turn to that can really shift the way that the team's playing. So there won't be a massive panic as yet, I would have thought.
So it's 1-0 to Crystal Palace, and actually it could have been worse than that for Villa had Anthony Taylor not called a foul on Mateta, or Tyreek Mitchell had sorted his feet out and converted a presentable chance. As it is, just a slender lead for Palace, and Tielemans has the ball centre circle. Across to Cash and then back to Pau Torres, who's seen the space that Rodgers has over on the far side, and he's played a delightful diagonal ball, taken out of the sky by Rodgers, moves towards the edge of the penalty area, looks to run through a gap. It was helped away by Eze. Tielemans signing up, Cash back into the box, McGinn is there, good save by Henderson, who springs out towards his left and turns it down the post, and John McGinn on the volley from a right wing cross from Matt Cash pulls the first real save out of Henderson.
Well, he does brilliantly to control this half volley because it really sits up on him. Matt Cash, his cross bounces up to McGinn on his right foot, but he controls it beautifully and gets the power on it just really straight at Henderson to palm it over.
Really good push over the top by Henderson as the corner comes in, headed away by Palace. Back out as far as Dignew hits it, and there's another save by Henderson down to his left to tip it round the post and out for another corner. And that's two good saves from Henderson in the matter of moments. This one from the edge of the box, Luca Dean striking that. It might have taken a deflection. It certainly took a fingertip nudge from Henderson to stop it from going in the net.
That's outstanding. That really is, to stretch with his left hand, put it behind.
Here's another corner in towards the near post. Tielemans rises, headed away by Gay. Out on the edge of the area, Eze looking to escape, and he's trying to do so at pace, and he's done that. Now there's 5 against 3 if they get it right here. Crystal Palace. Kamada is over on the far touchline. They switched it out to him. He runs up towards the edge of the box. A right-footed ball in towards the inside channel. Wharton keeps it alive. Dignew with a poor clearance. Out comes Emi Martinez and takes it into his hands, and then very quickly dispatches upfield, looking for Ollie Watkins, but Lacroix is going to eat that up.
Yeah, that save from Henderson was just brilliant. It was a great strike from Luca Dean from outside the area. Still not sure if you're right, it took a deflection or not, but really had to stretch and get the fingertips on it. Firm fingertips at that to make sure it was round the post. Brilliant.
Aston Villa 0, Crystal Palace 1. 2 good chances for Aston Villa at the start of the second half. Mitchell has dispossessed Rodgers, 10 yards short of the halfway line. Followed it on into the path of Eze. Eze back to Mitchell. Mitchell sort of rather cumbersomely got past Rodgers, produced the cross, comes back out as far as Wharton. Wharton down the right side, there's a collision, there's a penalty for Crystal Palace. And Kamara is in real trouble here. He's pleading his innocence, but he collided with Eze inside the penalty area. He's already on a yellow card. He could find himself sent off. Well, he's going to be spoken to by Anthony Taylor, and Anthony Taylor may well let him off a second yellow card here, but it was a clumsy, stupid challenge from Kamara, and he has allowed Jean-Philippe Mateta the chance to put Palace 2-0 up from the spot.
Well, first of all, the disguise pass from Wharton's brilliant because he goes as if he's going to shoot and then just lends it to Eze inside the area, and Kamara comes across and he's the wrong side and he's trying to challenge. Eze just steps across, gets whacked on both calves. It's not a yellow card, but it's certainly a penalty.
Well, they are just checking it with the VAR. I don't really think there's much to check here, is there? From my first go, I think I said it was a penalty before he even pointed to the spot.
No, it just bashes into the back of his legs. Eze just stands his ground, gets there first, waits for the ball to arrive, and Kamara just comes through the back of his legs.
Oliver Glasner's in a very heated conversation with the Villa staff on the bench. They've gone not head to head, but Oliver Glasner, who is a very polite man, has lost his temper with Austin McPhee. There is going to be a penalty. There is going to be an opportunity for Jean-Philippe Mateta, who has taken 2 and scored 2 this season, against Emi Martinez, who is going to try and stop Crystal Palace from taking a 2-goal lead in the FA Cup semi-final. Aston Villa, who hope to get to an FA Cup final for the first time in a decade, need Emi Martinez at his most athletic best here. Mateta, usually very calm and collected from the spot, steps up, waits, right-footed, and slams it wide. Well, Martinez went the right way. I don't think he got a touch on it, but it was a terrible penalty from Mateta. He's put it wide of the left-hand upright.
I think it skims off the outside of the post. But it happens. As you run up, you can't help but in your peripheral vision see the goalkeeper move. He must see Martinez move to his left-hand side, the side that he's going to go. He can't change his mind at the last minute. He continues with it and tries to be super accurate in the corner and gets it wrong. Actually, I think that is big from Martinez, because he gets the right way and he put the pressure on Mateta to put it right in the corner.
Yeah, and he sent it off the outside of the post and wide of the goal, and Mateta has missed the penalty. And what a golden opportunity that was for Crystal Palace. They've had a chance to score with Tyreek Mitchell and they've missed it. They've had a penalty and missed it. And surely that says to Aston Villa, here's an invitation to get yourself back in the game.
Yeah, just straight away. Everything now is being roared by the Aston Villa supporters. They know how big that is.
And here is Asensio into the penalty area as Aston Villa go on the attack. Mateta trying to turn and pick the ball up on the edge of the box and get it clear for Palace. He does to the halfway line. Sunshine out at Wembley, but shining on Crystal Palace at the moment. But maybe it's going to start shining on Aston Villa after Mateta misses that penalty. McGinn out to the left. Digne with a cross into the centre, blocked by Richards, claims a handball, referee says no, hacked away, and it's out on this near side. And we welcome listeners from across North America on Sirius XM-FC, wherever you are in that country, on that continent this evening, or this afternoon as it probably will be for you. Welcome along to Wembley. We're on the halfway line, just left of centre, the back of the bottom tier of this superb structure, voted Stadium of the Year this year, the Global Stadium Awards. And the prize for the winner is to come back here on May the 17th and contest an FA Cup final. And both these two teams are desperate to do it. At the moment, Crystal Palace have a slender lead by a goal to nil, but Aston Villa now very much feel as if the momentum might be with them after that missed penalty from Jean-Philippe Mateta.
What they need to do now is really put the pressure on to see if it's really affected Crystal Palace.
Palace have won it on halfway though, and it's been picked off by Mateta, who's scurrying down the left side. One back by Tielemans, and Asensio was there too. Rodgers trying to turn away from Gay, but they immediately get men behind the ball there, Crystal Palace, and ensure that there's no problem. And then it's cleared by Henderson way up over the halfway line. Will Unai Emery think about making some sort of structural change here?
Possibly. You've got to use that momentum. You've got to use that penalty miss and try and put the pressure on Crystal Palace. Like I said, he's got a bench full of talent that he can change things up. He can add width if he wants with Donyell Marlon and Bailey.
He can add speed with Watkins, who's racing in behind. A long ball forward, which Martinez spotted, and it went all the way through from goalkeeper to centre forward, but just evaded Ollie Watkins and goes into the arms of Henderson. Ian Martin can come on and play more advanced position if necessary. They do have width, they do have pace, they do have creativity on the bench, but it remains Crystal Palace who lead by a goal to nil. The goal scored in the first half by Eberici Eze. Here is McGinn. They've had chances to go further ahead but haven't taken them. And now Tielemans trying to profit, moves the ball forward, a little clip at the back of the heels on Rodgers, but he turned it into Watkins, and then back to McGinn, who's overhit that pass to Luca Dean, and the frustration was audible there from the Aston Villa supporters away to our left-hand side.
Yeah, that's just a simple mistake from John McGinn. And Watkins, he constantly occupies your mind as a defender because he's always wanting to dart in behind. Even when Martinez has got it, he just made a circular run to kind of bring Lacroix out and then round the back and almost got himself in behind. Your concentration levels have to be so high with him around.
I wonder if he had been a little bit frustrated in that first half, actually. He didn't get too much touch of the ball, didn't see any goal-mouth action.
It's the life of a centre-forward at the moment. You're starved of it most of the game. You've got to be really alert for your moments.
Headed away by Conte as the ball goes up for Crystal Palace towards Eze. Brilliantly shut down Tielemans, and it's picked up by Sarr, who charges towards goal and unleashes a firecracker past Martinez to make it 2-0 to Crystal Palace. They've missed key chances, but the goals they've scored have been worldies. Absolutely terrific finish from Ismaila Sarr. 10th goal of the season. He won't score many better than that. He may not score many more important than that, because it may be the goal that takes Crystal Palace to the FA Cup final. Palace 2, Aston Villa 0.
Well, Mateta missed from 12 yards. Sarr certainly didn't from 22. It was brilliant from Adam Wharton. Again, he just spotted when to spring out and intercept. Lent it to Ismaila Sarr from Mateta, and then he just took it out of his feet. A couple of dabs of the ball, a couple of steps to line himself up, and then just fizzes it along the surface, skipping past Martinez. He can't get down towards it. It's not right in the corner, but it's got so much power that it zips past him. And it's all they deserve. They've been brilliant, Crystal Palace.
Well, you and I sat down earlier on today and we were discussing what should happen, what could happen here today. And I said to you that my belief is that Aston Villa have more talent, more depth than Crystal Palace. And on current form, they've won 10 of the last 12 coming into this match. I think they should win the game. But I said to you, Crystal Palace are horrible to play against. They can beat anyone, and they're 2-0 up here, Dean.
Yeah, it's been a showing that we've come used to seeing this season under Glasner. After the tough start, they've become hard to beat. They've got used to the formation. The players have come back from injury. They've got some stars in their team that can create from nothing, which is exactly what's happened with Eze and with Ismaila Sarr.
Martin has come on for Luca Dean, and they've also brought on Leon Bailey for John McGinn. Sent Rodgers out to this left-hand side, and Bailey now I think will hug the touchline on the right-hand side, and I think that will mean that there's just a little bit of a different dynamic here. Here is Rodgers sending it down the left, and Watkins is chasing it. They need a goal back quickly to Aston Villa. Across comes Gahey, so good in one-on-one situations, away by Lacroix and out for a throw on this near touchline.
Yeah, obviously, Bailey's going to give you that drive when he goes out wide, especially with Mitchell still on a yellow card. Trying to go at him 1v1. Morgan Rodgers, actually, you might benefit a little bit as well with him coming to the left, driving inwardly onto that right foot of his.
2-0 to Crystal Palace. We've hit the hour mark. There's half an hour to go. Out wide on the right. The ball is at the feet of Bailey. A first chance to run at Mitchell. Gets the cross in. Flicks off Mitchell. Goes out and away for a corner kick over on the far side. So his first introduction and impact on the game is a positive one from Leon Bailey, who scored his first goal of the season against Leicester City. He's taken a bit of time to get going because he's had so many injury issues. He's also had a lot more competition. Ball into the near post cut away from Asensio's cross by Eze into the middle of the park. Martsen delivers a ball into the area, headed away by Sarr, comes back out to Tielemans, and Aston Villa trying to keep the pressure on this Crystal Palace backline. Tielemans in the sunshine, nudging it forward towards the right, the fading sunlight on this spring evening here in North London. Ball picked up by Bailey, lovely cross in towards the near post. Richards is there to deflect it away. His good strong header gets it out of the penalty area, but it'll come back in here because Kamara's got it. And now Tielemans, who loves a Wembley goal, shoots from distance, but it's a yard over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, he would have just been having a few flashbacks there, wouldn't he? Watching that arc towards the top corner, couldn't quite get it to dip down at the end. A strike from the edge of the area for Yuri Tielemans, but again a good response from Villa. But when that cross comes in from Leon Bailey, now's not the time to not have players gambling in the box, to not have the numbers in there. It was only really Watkins that was in there.
To Twickenham, Lisa O'Sullivan.
England are the 2025 Women's Six Nations champions, their fourth Grand Slam in succession, a seventh title in a row, but they've done it by just 1 point. It was no victory lap against a dogged French lineup, even with 5 first-half tries for England. It threatened to be a rout. France made a lot of small opportunities, and in the 78th minute, an electric solo run from Joanna Grisey made it a real nail-biter, but England have come through. At Twickenham, it's finished England 43, France 42.
Back here at Wembley, Crystal Palace lead by 2-0 against Aston Villa in the 63rd minute at the home of English football. Ball picked up by Cash over on the far side, looking to drive into the box. He's dispossessed, and it's picked up by Mateta, and it's the Crystal Palace players that react quickest when that ball breaks down, and they're moving forward, and it's 5-on-5 here as they've spotted the run of Munoz on the right hand side. He's headed it down, cut out by Pau Torres, and Wharton brilliant winning the ball in the middle of the park, sending it out towards the right hand side. Sarr's onside, gets to the byline, pulls it back into the 6-yard box, and it's cleared away by Esri Konsa and out into Martsen. And then Aston Villa get it clear. There's a gentleman who's about 3 yards in front of us, just jumped out of his seat into the gangway, into the stairs in the middle of sort of where we are. He's wearing a smart shirt and a pair of slacks. He must be in his 50s, but he's jumped up there like Crystal Palace had won the World Cup.
Well, because he knows that third goal goes in, that'll be it.
He's being told to calm down by what I think is his son sitting next to him, with a very similar look. But he's very, either he's lubricated or very excited. Maybe both. This is Talksport. And it's that sort of occasion. The Crystal Palace fans are certainly the ones that are finding their voice here at Wembley this afternoon. Morgan Rogers, though, trying to do something about it. Looks to get beyond Chris Richards. Richards makes a challenge. That's a yellow card for him. And that was good sleight of feet from Morgan Rogers, who took the ball in, quickly turned and caught Richards out.
But it's been a feature of Crystal Palace's game this afternoon, is being really positive in the way that they press as soon as Aston Villa get it and look to play in. Adam Wharton again moments ago with an interception, as he did for the goal. So it's having that positivity to go and press, knowing you've got still some structure behind you in case you miss it.
Next goal's absolutely vital in this game. Aston Villa can get it, we'll have a grandstand finish. If Crystal Palace race away and score another, it's all over. Tielemans to take it, just in front of the centre circle, drips it into the box, headed away by Richards, not very far, not much distance on the header, back in by Kamara, flicked on by Rogers. Watkins trying to get it inside the box, he goes left and then right, trying to tease his way past Munoz, finds Rogers, deep ball to the far post, punched away by Henderson, comes back to Bailey, it comes off I think of Pau Torres, and goes over the top. Did it take a deflection off somebody else? I think Pau Torres got in the way there, and Bailey's effort came off his own teammate and went behind. Actually, on second review, I'm not sure that was the case. It should be a corner.
I mean, it's a brilliant stand-up cross from Morgan Rogers. Just takes a touch and then just stabs underneath it to get the height up and over. Henderson came out, was brave, punched it away into Bailey. But then the body's in the way. I mean, he had to try and thread it. He just smashes it low. I think it does come off Torres and then a Crystal Palace defender as well. But he's got to go high there. There's so many bodies in front of him, Leon Bailey. He's got to try and go high and into the roof of the net.
What a chance for Aston Villa. You're listening to Talksport. We're live in the FA Cup semi-final. Crystal Palace 2, Aston Villa 0. FA Cup game day live with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Well, Crystal Palace have had 32.7% of the ball. They've had 2 shots on target and they lead by 2-0. That's what's called efficient, I think.
Very much so. Very much so. That's been honed over the season as well, with the way that Oliver Glasner wants his teams to play. Again, Wharton, he's such an important player. He's only 21, and yet he's got that calmness on the ball, but also showing that other side of his game to be bright enough to see when it's right to go and press and win the ball back.
I don't think Morgan Rogers had a great game on Tuesday night against Manchester City. He couldn't find his way into it. He hasn't really found his way into this one. He's drawn a couple of important fouls, but hasn't been able to get on the ball enough. And I wonder whether or not he's going to be replaced. And it's going to be Jacob Ramsey that comes on in the next few minutes. So has another ball just delivered over the top and into a sort of area where Crystal Palace can defend, because they just drop deep and allow it to run out of play. And it goes out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Remember, we've got the boxing for you later on tonight, live on Talksport, live from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Chris Eubank Jr. against Conor Benn. It's live on Talksport from 8 o'clock this evening. You can follow it on our YouTube watch along as well if you go to the Talk Boxing YouTube channel as well. We'd love to have your company. Here's Eze inside the centre circle for Crystal Palace. One back by Tielemans. Got a kick, lost his boot, but he's back on the ball again. Picks it up, strides forward, gets to the halfway line, releases Martson, who's got outside him Morgan Rogers, who takes it up now, runs at Richards, gets into the penalty area, tries to take on one too many really, and couldn't squeeze for a tight gap which had been closed by Lacroix and Richards, and the ball bobbles through to Henderson, and Crystal Palace will clear with a 2-goal advantage and just 22 minutes still remaining.
But it's good for Crystal Palace. You're really forcing Aston Villa to take those risks, to try to do something a bit different to open you up as a defence. Morgan Rogers there, just a little bit too much, maybe could have lent it for the overlap, probably wanted someone just to bounce it off, but Watkins had peeled away to the back post.
Well, it looks as if Asensio is going to come off here, and Kamara coming off here, Ramsey coming on, and so is Ross Barkley. 2 big changes in the midfield area for Unai Emery and for Aston Villa, who need a spark. They need to somehow conjure a way to revive this performance, because the last thing they'll want here, Dean, is to find themselves in a situation where they're starting to lose ground a little bit, and the result that Chelsea picks up earlier today isn't going to help them. Newcastle winning as well. Lose ground in the race for the Champions League and then go out of the FA Cup at this stage. Bailey, far side, trying to jink infield, produces a cross deep towards the other side of the pitch, taken down well by Martson, who gets a low cross into the box, stretching to reach it was Lacroix, sent it into the air, it's dropped for Ramsey, who's inside the box, protects it brilliantly, given back to Martson again, he sends it to Tielemans across to Barkley faced up by Mateta, but will shoot from distance, and actually it's well wide of the goal, but just had Henderson a little bit interested, diving to his right.
Well, we know he's capable. We know he's got a super strike on him. Ross Barkley, when he connects, didn't strike through that. More of a dragged finish away to the right-hand side of Henderson's goal. And again, it's about building momentum for Aston Villa. It's about pinning Crystal Palace in. Can you get the ball wide? Can you get bodies into the box and flood the area?
Talksport on a Saturday evening. Might be that you're having a barbecue listening to Talksport tonight, and I don't blame you. The weather is such that most parts of the country lending itself to that sort of weather. Apparently Monday and Tuesday are going to be lovely as well, I hear. Here is Wharton flicking the ball on for Mateta, takes it down, sends it to Sarr towards the back post. Mitchell is arriving, he's going to get there late, and Cash is going to come across and tidy up for Aston Villa, who trail by 2-0. But every time Wharton gets the ball just 10 yards outside the penalty area, he produces a ball which unsettles that Aston Villa backline, and Crystal Palace look like they're going to profit from it.
Yeah, because they plays it into areas that can be a threat, and also then they've been very good at having the runners off Mateta. So when it does go into him, he's such a physical presence. He can hold the ball up, he can bring others into it, but you need the runners then off him, which is exactly what he got there. And then Mitchell made the same run as he did in the first half, rather than trying to spin towards the back post, and it was towards the back post instead.
When you heard the roar of the crowd, that was Mateta trying to lift the Crystal Palace supporters over on the far side. Unai Emery is almost on the pitch, trying to move his chess pieces around, looking to orchestrate a revival here in this game. They need to do it quickly, otherwise they're going out. Ramsey trying to turn away from Wharton, who's been terrific, by the way. Kamada picks it up. He strives over halfway. He's got Munoz running down the right-hand side, and he's such a dangerous weapon. His cross into the box is half fended away. Did it hit a hand? There was a half-hearted appeal from Sarr, who initially sort of went to suggest that he did, and then it's broken away with Rodgers and then up to Ramsey. Ramsey's got Markson darting down the left and Rodgers infield. He's also got Barkley available and Tielemans too. Tielemans on halfway. Didn't see that Sarr was coming in his rear view mirror. Managed to shrug him off and travel with the ball, by which time now they've slowed the attack to such a pace that Crystal Palace have just dropped back into a really good solid shape. And there's again a difficulty for Aston Villa to prize them open. They've had very few clear-cut opportunities. Henderson's made a couple of good saves, but that was at the early part this second half. Here's Bailey trying to test them now, but a cross which is blocked by Mitchell again goes out of the way for a corner kick to Aston Villa.
Well, maybe it is going to take something like a set play to get them back into it. They've struggled to create those chances in open play. Both of these sides actually scored the joint most set pieces in the Premier League, so they're both used to being a threat.
Here is the corner then, taken over on the far side by Bailey, whose right-footed ball is flicked on by Rodgers. Actually didn't connect with it properly, and it bounced off the defender who was just behind him, and it's eventually cleared rather carelessly by Crystal Palace, just about getting it clear. Would have been a real opportunity for Morgan Rodgers had he connected properly with that really smart delivery from Bailey.
But that's happened a couple of times, hasn't it, for Aston Villa, that delivery in from a set play that's been nudged on and it's just either hasn't fallen for them, got that bit of luck, or the anticipation hasn't been quite good enough.
Telling Bailey to stay wide as Villa again dominate the ball in the Palace half. They have it with Pau Torres, who's allowed to stroke it forward, give it to Tielemans, gets it back again, Pau Torres. Now it's Conte. Cash wants to get it out to Bailey, but it's taken an extra pass to do that. He's now going to run at Mitchell. Mitchell's watching it. Bailey trying to come up with a bit of magic. He gets beyond Mitchell, gets round him, pulls it into the area, looks for Rodgers. It's set back towards Barkley. What an important challenge that was from Mateta, coming from the other side. With Barkley ready to pull the trigger, he nudged it clear. Here is Markson, lovely little cute ball into Rodgers inside the area. Still not able to pull the trigger. Markson's got it back again because they're just relentless at the moment. Villa have found Tielemans inside the area. Tielemans has gone down under Kamada's challenge, but I think that was coming together more than anything else. The ball spilt behind and away for a goal kick.
Oh, they have defended their area very well, Crystal Palace. Every time you just think an Aston Villa player is going to be free when it's played into him, another blue and red shirt comes across to cover.
Challenge that was from Mateta.
Well, exactly. You've got your centre forward coming back into his own area to make a sliding challenge when Barkley was about to take a strike. But again, it just shows that work ethic for the whole team.
Aston Villa live on Talksport. Those Aston Villa supporters behind the goal away to our left looking very grumpy, having watched their team toil against the Crystal Palace team that had made it very difficult for them. But Bailey's had a little bit of joy over on that far side, and he's got the ball again now, taking on Mitchell, going on the inside this time, a little back heel into Cash. Cash has got to get the right delivery. He gets it into the box. It's smuggled by Kamada, but it's picked up by Rodgers. Then across comes Gahey. He digs it out, gets it away. Ezra's got it on the far side, and Crystal Palace have run it clear. They couldn't quite get it to Sarr. It would have been very dangerous if they had, but the ball came back into midfield. Kamada sent it long, and 2 Crystal Palace players chased it. Martinez got it away, and now all of a sudden there's a bit more space for Villa. Martinez has found Pau Torres, who's urging his team forward. It's picked up by Ramsey, 5 yards short of the penalty area. Back to Martson. Ramsey again, trying to take on Richards. A low ball which takes a deflection, and it's into the arms of Henderson. And Eddie Nketiah are about to come on for Crystal Palace.
Yeah, big performance as well from Richards in that back line. He's had now a number of players up against him. This time it's Ramsey who tries to shift it and cross, and just does really well to make sure he gets across and blocks the cross into his goalkeeper's hands and takes the pressure off.
Henderson clears high up into the evening sky. Tessa about to be replaced. Goes past him and into the arms of Emi Martinez. Let's quickly go off to the racecourse ground. A very quick update from Matt Jones.
We've just gone past the hour mark. It's still Wrexham 2, Charlton 0. Charlton are desperately trying to get something out of this game. They've brought on Mbic to change shape and put an extra man up front, but the only chance they've created is when Watson got down the outside and his cross hit Scar. A Concoy saved. 29 minutes to go. Wrexham 2, Charlton 0.
Here on the right-hand side comes Bailey into the box, a right-footed shot which is stopped by Henderson, pushed into the penalty area and cleared away by Eze. But again, Bailey's made a real difference, hasn't he? Taking that ball just a little bit wider, running at the defenders and just unsettling that Crystal Palace back line.
Yeah, I mean, he's excellent in the way that he can go either way. He's very left-footed, of course he is, but he's happy to go down the outside onto his right foot and try and get a cross in. It was a poor cross in the end, actually, in towards Henderson rather than to a teammate, but with Mitchell on a yellow card, it's just get it out to him, constantly get it out to him and let him run it in.
We're going to have a couple of changes here. Nketiah is going to come on for Jean-Philippe Mateta, and the other change is going to be Daniel Marlon coming on. And let's wonder who might come off here. Morgan Rogers might be a candidate. Just waiting for the fourth official, who is Rob Jones today, just to put up the board. It is going to be Morgan Rogers who comes off. We'll be a little bit disappointed with that. But needs must at this time. This emergency action needs to be taken. There's 12 minutes left. Mateta's coming off and the Nketiah on, and off comes Rogers and on comes Marlon. And they need a goal. They need one quickly, and they need to try and spice up this attack. I think he's gone to play out, maybe just a little bit left of centre, but it might well be that Ramsey's expected to get down that left-hand side and Marlon goes almost up front in a duo with Watkins.
Yeah, just to give Watkins a bit of support against the back three. He's been pretty isolated for most of the game, Watkins. Hasn't been able to show what he's about, really, with that running in behind, because there's always at least 2 up against him.
Palace 2, Aston Villa 0. Ball sent long from the free kick just inside the Aston Villa half, from left to right, a raking long ball which goes right down towards the corner flag. It took a little flick off Martson and goes out for the throw into Crystal Palace, which Chris Richards is going to take. Another one with a long throw. He's going to launch this one in towards the near post. Oliver Glasner, who has decided he wasn't going to wear a suit today because he said he'll only wear a suit when if Palace get to a final. Well, they're on the edge of getting to a final now. Richards in towards the near post, flicked away by Pau Torres, further cleared by Daniel Marlon. Across goes Bailey. Eze is trying to wrestle with it. Might come through nicely to Sarr into the box, and Nketiah plays it wide instead. Kamada gets it right-footed in towards Sarr. He's missed a brilliant opportunity to make it 3. He's headed the ball back across the face of goal. It's gone a yard wide of the right-hand upright. That should have been 3-0. That should have been, no doubt, Palace in a cup final.
Well, he's made the same mistake as he did in the first half. He gets ahead of it again. It makes it so much more difficult to then give yourself the angle of the header if you're ahead of it. It's brilliant from Kamada. First of all, Eze juggles with it, then Kamada plays it in and he just misreads the header.
At the other end, Ramsey steaming forward. Martson in towards the back post. Watkins was going to get there, but Tyreek Mitchell came out and snuffed out the attack. It's out for a corner.
Oh, the look on Watkins' face. He's absolutely gutted. He was just about to tap that in, and then Tyreek Mitchell came across to poke it behind.
Well, what's going to happen in these dying moments? 10 minutes to go. An Aston Villa goal now changes the complexion. Ball in towards the edge of the box. It's hit by Cash first time. Smacks off Wharton. Back in by Martson. Headed into the air by Lacroix. They're on the edge of the area here. And the ball just ping-ponging around Eventually taken down by Barkley, who's dispossessed, and it's won by Munoz. You don't want to give it to him because he can run all day, and he takes it down the left, feeds it to Nketiah. Nketiah wants it on his right foot. He strikes it, takes a little bobble, and then pops up in front of Emi Martinez, and he will be able to clear. But the game getting stretched now, Dean, as desperation takes hold for Villa.
Well, I actually think Villa will want this. Villa will want it to be stretched. Palace have to be wise in the way that they attack.
Well, Watkins is challenged on this near side, right on the perimeter of the penalty areas. He's played in by Ramsey, but it's a leg that touches the ball out of play and goes out for a corner kick on this near side. The last corner that Tielemans put in was dreadful. He needs to be much better with his delivery here. He sent it short to Markson, let him do it instead. He's then driven it back towards Cash. And the momentum's sort of gone. Tielemans then lifts the ball into the box from an angle, headed into the air by Nketiah, breaks down, cleared by Mitchell, didn't get that either, he miskicked it. He's given it back to Tielemans, down the left to Markson. Markson now taking on Kamada. He gets to the edge of the area, goes on the outside, and Markson's cross is deflected behind. It's another corner kick for Aston Villa. Are they going to make one of these set pieces play? They've been so good at set pieces all season, but they haven't really threatened from set pieces in this game.
It's because Crystal Palace have been immense in that defensive area, winning headers, making blocks, covering each other. When Aston Villa have had bodies in the box, they've been brilliant so far.
Ben Chilwell coming on for Crystal Palace. I wonder if that's going to be a straight swatch, but Tyreek Mitchell is down getting treatment at the moment. He missed the game actually with illness in midweek. And Mitchell's performance has just been keeping Ben Chilwell at bay. I mean, Ben Chilwell hasn't really done much for Crystal Palace since coming in on loan from Chelsea, apart from just ensure that Tyreek Mitchell stays at the very top of his game.
Well, that's what it should be at Premier League level. It should be that there's somebody in your position that's pushing you to improve and excel.
Oliver Glasner asking Ben Chilwell to hurry up and get out on the pitch. He's giving him instructions of what he should do from this corner kick, as Mitchell has been replaced just before the corner is taken. So might play into Aston Villa's hands a little bit here. He runs over to mark that sort of zone in between penalty spot and 6-yard box. He's got Pau Torres alongside him. That's a bit of a mismatch. Tielemans right underneath the goalkeeper, punched away by Henderson, picked up by Bailey. Cash will send it back out towards this near side. Markson now has a chance to get it in, but he gives it, defers to Tielemans, has it back again. Markson. There was a kick by Kamada, and Kamada is going to get a yellow card.
I think they've been on the edge, haven't they, Crystal Palace, with possible yellow cards, but it's because of the way that they're stepping in and looking to stop the Aston Villa attack and looking to intercept. If you're going to be brave and do that, you're going to risk the odd yellow card.
6 minutes remaining on Talksport, live on Sirius XM-FC and across North America as well. We're at Wembley. Daichi Kamada has just got into the referee's notebook. Palace 2, Aston Villa 0. Tielemans sizing up where and when to play the ball. He rolls it to Markson, whose delivery is a curling one, headed away by Ismail Assar. It runs out to the far side, the right, recycled by Bailey. It's too close to the back post, and it's difficult angle from Barkley to try and squeeze it back into a dangerous area. It goes wide of the goal and out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. There's another set piece that doesn't really even yield a proper chance, Dean, and that will be frustrating for Aston Villa and Unai Emery.
And it just feels like they haven't been able to build anything, really. They've obviously had the set plays, but they've not really built up a tension for Crystal Palace to have to deal with. It's not really been their day. It's just felt a little flat from Aston Villa. I wonder whether just the games and the magnitude of the games that they've had recently has just taken its toll on a few of the players.
Yeah, Crystal Palace have been awkward opponents, but there is still a chance, and Marlon is trying to make that work for them. He's breaking down the left-hand side. He gets to the edge of the penalty area. He's bounding past Wharton. He gets it out towards Cash, who's on the right side of the box now. He is attracting attention. His right-footed shot travels all the way through the 6-yard box, and no one touches it home. It goes behind and out for a goal kick.
Well, when you do that, it becomes nothing, doesn't it? It's neither a cross that anyone can get on the end of, and it's nowhere near the goal to be useful enough as a shot. I think you just need to be a little bit cuter there, Cash, and just feed that in for the players that are in there.
Well, their omens weren't great for Aston Villa coming into the game. Their record against Palace recently is awful. Their FA Cup record over the last 10 years is terrible. Their Wembley record is disappointing. In their last 8 visits here, they've won just twice. They're going to lose here again today unless something dramatic happens in the final 4 minutes plus stoppage time. And with these two managers, there was always going to be a tactical battle, and both of them have the propensity to win knockout competitions. Oliver Glasner has won the Europa League with Eintracht Frankfurt, but he's never won a domestic cup competition. He has played tennis at Wimbledon though, and so far his team have been ace. 2-0 to Crystal Palace. He actually said he played properly at Wimbledon and wore the full tennis whites in order to play.
Because he was that good.
He was that good, he was invited to play with the All England Club. You have to be invited, you can't just book a call. It's not like you become a member and get the app. Going to be a change here. And Will Hughes comes on and replaces Adam Wharton. And Jefferson Lerma comes on for Eze for the final few moments of this game. They're just wasting time now, blocking up those channels. They know that they're on the verge of an FA Cup final once again. They've never won the FA Cup, Crystal Palace, but they are going to have the chance to do so. They're going to take on either Nottingham Forest or Manchester City. We'll find the result of that one out tomorrow live on Talksport. That game kicks off at 4:30. A massive opportunity, one of those teams to try and end the season with silverware. This is a massive opportunity that Crystal Palace have taken and Aston Villa have let slip from their grasp. And their supporters will be frustrated going back up the motorway network tonight. Unai Emery's won 11 major trophies in his career, but he's not going to win this one unless Leon Bailey, Daniel Marlon, Ollie Watkins, Jacob Ramsey, Ian Martson, the forward-thinking players, maybe Tielemans can transform the scoreline, but Pau Torres has just shot that ball right down the left channel, overhit it, gone out of play, and you get the feeling it's not going to be Aston Villa's day.
It's just not there, is it? It's just not there. It's not for a lack of effort. I just think it's not been there all day, really, for Aston Villa, and I think it's credit to Crystal Palace the way they defended. But so far, you look at this game and you think, actually, they've not really been under much pressure. It's been actually quite comfortable for them, and they probably should have got a couple more themselves. Obviously, the penalty miss and Mitchell's miss could have been really comfortable.
Yep, that's really the tail of the tape, actually. Crystal Palace missed more chances than Aston Villa have created. And they are worthy winners, but they are going to have to endure 7 added minutes at the end of this Cup semi-final here at Wembley. The blue and red flags are out. But as of yet, the game is not over and it is not won. Bailey on to Cash. Now Barkley into the penalty area. Not defended well. Back to Marlon inside the box. Tries something spectacular. Trying to flick it up as it came through to him off Bailey, but he didn't get the execution right. Fell over and the ball spilt into the arms of Henderson.
There's just no room. There's no space in that penalty area to manoeuvre, flick it up to yourself and volley. It's so tight. They've tightly knit that area of Crystal Palace, and they've not used the width well enough, Aston Villa, today.
Oliver Glasner trying to engender a bit more support from the Crystal Palace supporters. A few of the Aston Villa fans have already gone home. They've started to make an early dash for the exit, but maybe they don't know about the 7 minutes of added time. And the only thing I will say to people who have left or decided that this game is up are the words Coventry City. Last year's semi-final against Manchester United looked to be all over, then it wasn't. Ball out of play on this near side. It's away for a throw-in to Crystal Palace. Daniel Munoz is going to take it in the right full-back position. The FA Cup winners will qualify for the Europa League group stage. Crystal Palace won't get there through the league, so they will take that place should they win the FA Cup. If one of the others wins it, then the way that things are falling at the moment, that will probably fall back into the league. Here is
Martson travelling a long way with the ball. He skipped past Kamada and Nketiah and got into an advanced position. Now he's on the right and he's popped the ball into the path of Bailey. Bailey teasing his way past Chilwell. Back to Martson. His left-footed cross is aimed towards the far post. Marlon dabs it down. Not a great clearance from Richards. Marlon then sticks a foot out at it when actually there were two players on the box, edge of the box, better placed than him to strike it. But it was a poor decision. And the ball deflects out for a throw in the left full-back area.
And what you have to do in these moments and dying moments of the game, I know it seems really simple, you've got to keep the ball in play. You can't allow the ball to keep going out of play from certainly your own mistakes. And Aston Villa have done that too many times towards the end of the game to just relieve the pressure for Crystal Palace, and they can take their time and they can set themselves.
Richie Eze has got the Man of the Match award from the television commentators. Alan Wharton's had a brilliant game today as well, but there's a number of contenders actually in Crystal Palace blue and red who deserve a mention after what has been a really good and disciplined performance by Crystal Palace. And if they play as disciplined as this, they could cause whoever they get in the final a real problem, and maybe they'll do what Ian Wright, Mark Bright, Alan Pardew, Jeff Thomas failed to do back in 1990 and win this famous old cup. Back then it was 2 games against Manchester United, couldn't get over the line after a brilliant first match at Wembley. But this time, maybe their name is written on the cup. Here on the far side, the ball is with Nketiah. He's drawing a foul. Referee says no foul, get on with it. Barkley takes it on, and then he just pokes it straight out of play. It ain't going to happen, is it?
No. There's too many times they put it out of play themselves. Torres twice, Marlon once, Barkley once there. Just simple mistakes that you just let them off, and it's just not worked for them at all.
Just wonder what this will do to Aston Villa and Unai Emery in their hunt for Champions League football next year. They have Fulham at home next, Bournemouth at home next, Tottenham Hotspur at home, and then Manchester United away. Big fixtures towards the end of the season. Sarr has been sent through towards the edge of the box. He can finish it here. Ismaila Sarr scores for Crystal Palace, and now there's no date like May the 17th in the Crystal Palace diary, because that is the date that they will be coming back to contest an FA Cup final. Ismaila Sarr, who scored a worldie earlier in the second half, has just raced away, been fed by Eddie Nketiah, and settled the Aston Villa back line, slammed it home, and Oliver Glasner, who said he won't wear a suit until he leads Palace out of the final, well, book yourself a trip to the Taylor's Fella, because Palace are coming back to Wembley. 3-0.
A beautiful blue and red shine on top of this performance from Crystal Palace. Once again it comes from hard work and closing down, and Nketiah off the bench in the dying moments of the game chases back, wins it off Tielemans, sets Ismaila Sarr away. Again he takes 2 lovely touches, sets himself and just waits for Martinez to go slightly towards the ground, and just calmly lifts it with the inside of his right foot just up and over his legs and into the corner, and then wheels away to celebrate. They've been so brilliant on the counter-attack once again, Crystal Palace.
Well, it's 3-0 to Crystal Palace. It is game over. And the man who once played at Wimbledon in all white knows that it's game, set and match. 4 shots on target, 3 goals for Crystal Palace. And Aston Villa's season now rests on getting into the top 5 in the Premier League, because their cup quest is over. A difficult day for Unai Emery, a difficult day for those in white, a difficult day for those Aston Villa supporters who now stream up the gangways and out of the exits. They know that Oliver Glasner has tactically outmanoeuvred them, and Crystal Palace have executed his plan to perfection, and that's the end. It's all over. 90 seconds still to play, but the FA Cup
campaign as far as Aston Villa has come to an end, and Crystal Palace have been simply superb on the break. They knew exactly what they're all about, they know what they do, and they do it so well, Dean.
They do. They've been so clinical as well in the way that they've counter-attacked. You're pretty much looking at almost probably 75% of their counter-attacks has ended in something, whether it's a chance, whether it's a goal. They've just really got a rhythm to the way that they attack when they win the ball back.
Palace knocked them out of the League Cup, now they're knocking them out of the FA Cup too. Aston Villa's Wembley record is dismal, and it's not getting any better here. 10 visits, 7 defeats, and this one will be painful. Ismaila Sarr has scored twice, and they've just been superb whenever they've got opportunities in front of goal. Here on the right side, Bailey trying to get into the box, stopped by Kamada, cleared away by Crystal Palace. Again, just brilliant feet from Kamada, who looks to send them away once more, and he sent Munoz away, and now he's cantering forward, and he sends the ball in towards the near post, and Martinez will come and collect that, but that's the end of the game. Crystal Palace are FA Cup finalists for just the third time in their history. One of the biggest teams in England without a major trophy to their name will be 90 minutes away from clinching their first when they contest the final of the FA Cup on the 17th of May. In front of goal, Eze and Sarr were best by far. Heroes, the lot of them. The players' joy absolutely uncontainable, but they can't celebrate too much because they've exhausted themselves in executing a tactical plan which has outwitted Aston Villa and Unai Emery and sent Palace to the cup final. 10 days after being dumped out of the Champions League, Villa have lost ground in the race for the top 5, and they've been eliminated from the FA Cup at the semi-final stage. It's a day of joy for Crystal Palace. 745 teams entered the FA Cup, but by the time we get to tomorrow night, only 2 will be left, and one of them will be Crystal Palace. It's finished at Wembley. Crystal Palace 3, Aston Villa 0.
Villa end is emptied, the Palace end remains full and jubilant as well, and that's 50-something fella in front of us is thoroughly enjoying himself, the Palace fan. Absolutely brilliant. That's what it's all about. They've got to come back and do it again before they lift the trophy, though. But they are there again. Crystal Palace, 1990. Alan Pardew with a winner in the semi as they beat Liverpool 4-3. One of the best semi-finals of all time. Ian Wright back from a broken leg, pitched into the final, stole the headlines. 2 goals in a 3-3 draw. But Palace lost the replay 1-0 to Man United. Didn't get the job done then. 2016, back here. Palace take the lead in the final against United again. Alan Pardew does his little dance on the touchline. United hit back, win it by 2-1. And now, this year, 2025, Palace into their 3rd FA Cup final. Can they go on and win it? And Dean Ashton nailed it in the commentary. Absolute dominant in terms of possession. Aston Villa did not do anywhere near enough with the ball, but it's got to be credit to Crystal Palace because when they did have the ball, they knew exactly what to do with it.
I have been so impressed with Crystal Palace today. You know, Aston Villa are a terrific outfit. They've played in some big games, had some massive performances this season, and they just nullified them completely. You know, you think of the talent that Villa have got, and we didn't really see any of it. It was composed possession without being able to break down what was a brilliant Crystal Palace defence. And then they didn't. It wasn't just we're going to whack it and that's how we counter-attack. It wasn't. It was willingness to run. Whether it's the full-backs, whether it's midfield players, whether it's the they just stream forwards. There's a real zip about their counter-attack, and they're producing end products with it, with the quality players that they've got. And it was all there to see today, and they'd have a great chance in the final, whoever they face, if they play like that.
Absolutely. I'll let you know, Wrexham have got a 3rd. They are heading up. They're going to be automatically promoted this evening. Wrexham 3, Charlton 0 will be there for full time on Talksport. I mean, we had 3 great goals here. Eze the first, 2 from Sarr. They could even afford to miss a penalty as well. We'll go through the goals shortly. And I think TV have got it massively wrong. Adam Wharton, so clearly the man of the match by an absolute mile. Almost literally everything he did was perfect, bordering on world class. I mean, when they won the penalty, the ball in to the box for Eze before he's fouled. I mean, that it's just the vision and execution that so few players have.
Oh, he was magnificent. And, you know, again, he's still developing. There's still more to come from this player. But you're right, in a big stage like this, semi-final of the FA Cup at Wembley, he ran the show in terms of he's comfortable on the ball, he doesn't seem phased, he's got energy to work, he's got the intelligence to see when to press and to win the ball back, which led to one of the goals and led to the penalty as well. And then at the end of it, he's then got the quality to just deliver a beautiful pass into Eze in the penalty area. What a talent! And you're right, I am amazed Eze's got the man of the match, because he did some good things, but it was his goal that was the wow factor. There was so much more to Adam Wharton's game today.
Well, I nearly fell off my chair when I heard it was Eze. And no disrespect, everybody knows I'm a big Eze fan, and he has scored a great goal. On the goals, and Sam mentioned at the start of the second half, I think there's question marks over the keeper for Eze's goal, and maybe even for Sarr's first goal, the Palace second goal, because they're both from long range, and Emi Martinez is a world-class keeper. He's won FIFA's best keeper in the world twice. Should they be going into the back of the net?
Yes they should. I would love for everybody to get to stand there and watch the pace that's on these shots from the players. It's ferocious, you know, and he is a decent goalkeeper, you know, and he would save it. He would save it if he could. You can't. It's too quick. You know, the way Eze hit it, he can't react quick enough and get there. You know, Sarr's absolutely smashed through it. It's zipping off the surface, so it's getting faster as it skips off the surface, and he can't get to it. I would just say they're two magnificent finishes. I wouldn't even blame the goalkeeper one bit because of the pace that's on it.
It could have been 5-0. I mean, we mentioned the Sarr awful header first half. Tyrick Mitchell had a golden chance, completely fluffed it, and they missed a penalty as well. And Mateta must be a relieved man having missed that penalty. I mean, to have a penalty saved is one thing, but he completely missed the target. And I always think from a penalty, I know you're trying to put it in the corner, trying to put it as close to the post as possible so the keeper can't reach it, but you've got to hit the target.
Oh, you have, of course you have. But that's the pressure of taking a penalty in any game, let alone a big game like this. And I always visualise the two that I missed, because both times I've gone to my left as I've run up to it with my right foot, and I've gone to whip it to my left, and I've seen the goalkeeper go that way, and I've missed the target both times. Like Mateta, I've missed the goal, because you see it in your peripheral vision that the goalkeeper moves your way, and you panic that little bit and you try and put it right into the corner knowing he's going to be there, and you miss. And that's exactly what Mateta did.
Is it too late to change your mind? Go the other side.
Well, you've got to be supremely confident to do that, and somebody that can look up when taking it. I wasn't that type of player. I felt like I had to look at the ball properly as I was striking it. We see with Ivan Toney, he can wait right until even when he's kicking it, he's not looking at the ball. That to me is mind-blowing, and Mateta probably not one of those that felt comfortable doing it, and so you see it and you miss it, and I can see why, but that would have hurt him. But Villa never grasped that. They never grasped that moment when they could have got on top of Crystal Palace.
Well, the singing Eze's on fire. He's gone to the fans to applaud them. Maxime Lacroix did that a few moments ago. Some big cheers for the centre-back. And the Palace fans are absolutely loving every second of this. And they haven't just got through to the FA Cup final. They put Aston Villa away 3-0. And it could have been more. And despite all the possession that Aston Villa had, they did very little with it. So if they could have their time again, knowing what happened first time around, if you like, what would Unai Emery and Aston Villa do differently? Or was it just there was no answer to what Palace were doing?
I think they didn't use the wide areas well enough. I thought they isolated Watkins too much, because when you're playing against the back three, you can't have a striker isolated. It cannot happen. It's criminal almost to allow a striker to be on his own against three, because not only that, two can then double up, and the extra one can really go out to anyone that's trying to go and support Watkins. So we might have looked at that. I don't want to give them excuses, but it's been a difficult run leading up to this game for them in terms of the magnitude of the games and the effort that they're having to put in, I think that did affect the end of this game. We just didn't see that push that we have seen so often from this Villa side.
Yeah, it almost looked like they'd given up towards the end of the game because they knew they were a beaten side, and they were probably right, to be honest with you. Palace into the FA Cup final 3-0. More reflections to come.